All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning back into the Goodell Multiverse Podcast. We are on to the main event for episode 11. We are talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
That's right, Volume 1.
And I have on some Guardians pants. Hello.
Very nice, very nice.
Yes. So I'm all ready. We're gonna get this show started.
Heck yeah.
So, all right. Well, as usual, Ike, why don't you take it away, the history behind the film?
All right, guys. So, history behind the film. The release date was August 1st, 2014. Main cast is Chris Pratt, Zoe Zendaya, Dave Bautista, Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, Michael Rooker, Lee Pace, Karen Gillan, and Glenn Close. Ooh, good cast. There's even more in there that it's a lot to put on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, guys, Marvel Studios' decision to make the first Guardians of the Galaxy was considered one of the biggest gambles in blockbuster history at the time, arriving during a critical moment when the MCU was rapidly expanding after the success of the Avengers. By 2013, Marvel had proven audiences would show up for Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Hulk, but Guardians was different. It featured a team almost completely unknown to general audiences, including a talking raccoon and a walking and talking tree. Many industry analysts believe Marvel had finally overreached. The studio wanted to prove the MCU could expand beyond Earth-based heroes and establish a cosmic side of the universe that could eventually connect to Thanos and the Infinity Stones storyline teased in earlier films. To lead the project, Marvel hired James Gunn. We were just talking about him in the last segment. Who at the time was best known for smaller cult films like Slither and Super, along with his edgy trauma entertainment roots. Gunn's hiring surprised many because his style was weird, comedic, emotional, and unconventional compared to Marvel's more polished formula. However, Marvel specifically wanted someone who could make audiences emotionally connect with bizarre characters while embracing a rebellious sci-fi tone. Gunn rewrote much of the script to focus heavily on themes of loneliness, found family, music, and emotional trauma, which became the heart of the film. Filming began in 2013, primarily at Shepperton Studios in England. There's a lot of films been done there, by the way. With massive practical sets built for locations like Kiln Prison, Nowhere, and the Milano. Is it Milano?
Yeah.
Because it's off of, he names it after What's-Her-Face, right?
Yep.
The Milano spacecraft. The MCU at this point was in the middle of Phase 2, coming off the successes of Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. But Guardians represented Marvel's biggest tonal risk yet because it leaned fully into space opera comedy and surreal cosmic mythology. At the time, Chris Pratt was mostly known for comedic television work on Parks and Rec and shocked audiences with his dramatic physical transformation into leading man shape for Peter Quill / Star-Lord. Zoe Zendaya was already an established sci-fi star thanks to Avatar and Star Trek, bringing credibility to the project as Gamora. Dave Bautista, still transitioning from WWE superstardom into acting, unexpectedly became one of the film's breakout surprises as Drax. Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel joined as the voices of Rocket and Groot, giving Marvel a bizarre but memorable ensemble. Fun production facts include Gunn personally selecting many songs for the Awesome Mix soundtrack during script writing. It's extensive use of practical makeup and creature effects despite the heavy CGI, and Marvel initially worrying audiences would reject Rocket Raccoon entirely. Instead, Rocket and Groot became instant fan favorites and merchandising giants. The cast reportedly bonded heavily during filming, which helped create the believable found family chemistry that defined the movie. When Guardians of the Galaxy released in 2014, it became one of Marvel's most shocking success stories. Critics and audiences praised its humor, emotional depth, soundtrack, and willingness to feel completely different from previous MCU films. It earned approximately 92% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics and around 92% from audiences. Wow. Becoming one of the best reviewed superhero films of its era. Financially, the movie massively exceeded expectations, grossing about $773 million worldwide against a production budget estimated around $170 to $232 million. What many expected to be Marvel's first major failure instead became proof the MCU brand was powerful enough to turn obscure comic characters into mainstream icons. More importantly, the success of Guardians of the Galaxy permanently changed Marvel's creative confidence, opening door for stranger and riskier projects like Doctor Strange, Thor Ragnarok, Eternals, and eventually Gunn's larger influence on superhero storytelling as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, couldn't have put it all better. It's 100% true, I think.
Yes. Very, very, very true. Crazy that the Rotten Tomatoes score for both critics and audiences are exactly the same.
You never usually see them that close. Like, I mean, that's right on the nose.
Yeah. There are times where the critics like something more in the audience, or vice versa. The critics are like, maybe 82%, and the audience is like, 98%.
Yeah.
That's actually similar to what we just reviewed for Shawshank Redemption.
Yep.
Critics didn't like it as much as the audiences. They gave it a huge rating.
That's right.
This one, everyone in agreement. A+ movie.
Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, this was awesome.
Yeah, actually, really, really cool. And that last part there, very true. That if it wasn't for the success of this movie, not only would we have not gotten its sequels, of course, but some of those other riskier things like the Doctor Strange introducing the magic realm a little bit more. Ragnarok, which was a pretty good risk for Thor, and it turned out very well for him. But Eternals was a huge risk. So, if it wasn't for the influence of this type of movie, we wouldn't have been able to get some of those other things.
I would even go as far as say you wouldn't have the DCU starting like it is.
No, you wouldn't have put James Gunn on the map the way they did in here.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'll read to you guys the official synopsis, and we're gonna get right into the film's breakdown.
Yes, sir.
All right. So a group of intergalactic criminals must pull together to stop a fanatical warrior with plans to purge the universe.
Yeah.
It's a very simple sentence, but it really is the whole movie in a nutshell. What happens. So it's cool to see that synopsis, and then you find out how they're able to make this whole movie like that. It's so good.
Yep.
So good. Oh, this is gonna be fun, guys. All right. So, do you want to start off with the first act, or want me to do that?
I'll let you do the first act today.
You got it. All right. All right, guys. So, Act 1 of Guardians of the Galaxy. In 1988, young Peter Quill is abducted from Earth shortly after his mother's death. Decades later, now a space outlaw known as Star-Lord, Quill steals a mysterious orb sought by the fanatic warrior Ronan the Accuser, who serves the cosmic tyrant Thanos. Quill's theft draws the attention of bounty hunters Rocket and the Raccoon and Groot, as well as assassin Gamora, Thanos' adopted daughter, who seeks the orb for her own reasons. After a chaotic clash on Xandar, all four are arrested and sent to the Kylin prison, where they meet the vengeance-driven Drax the Destroyer. All right. It's
a hell of a start, to be honest with you.
It is, and I tell you, there are so many scenes in this first act that do work really well.
Yeah.
So why don't you talk about what your favorite scenes are, what worked well for Act 1?
So there's going to be more to talk about good than bad here for me so far, ish. I'm going to start with the bad as soon as we get into it right off the bat. But let's go with the good first, because there's a lot of good stuff. First of all, I think what really worked for me and what James did smart here was starting on Earth with Peter as a kid and getting that emotional punch of this is his life, this is his mom, he's losing his mom, and then he's abducted by what you just, oh my God, aliens just took him, right?
Right?
And I like that they started grounded and then went cosmic. Because it's like, by the way, this is still told here. It's still told in our time and what's going on. But now we're going to go out here and just see what all this means. You know what I mean? And I think that that's smart. And right off the bat, the music to this movie, when you get going with Star-Lord and he's going for this orb and he's starting to dance, that scene will never get old to me where he's dancing. I think it's perfect. I like it. I love him as this role. Yep. I think he shines in it. The comedy his timing is perfect. Like Chris is a funny guy.
Yeah.
I've always thought so, truthfully. He's one of my favorites to watch, to be honest, guys. Yeah, I think that starting this off was the thing that stuck out to me the most that worked. I think the introduction to everybody worked, and it was all very seamless. It was all, and especially when they meet on Xandar and they have this kind of fight scene that puts them in jail, which goes to one of my favorite scenes, which is them in the lineup, which is a perfect way to do exposition real quick. Because it's just like, why not? That's when you would do it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of John C. Reilly, but I think this is a great little role for him to show up as that one officer that is with them during this. Yeah, it's hard to tell you what doesn't work with this stuff right here. I will tell you this. Let's get into the villain stuff for a second. This establishes Josh Brolin is definitely the voice of Thanos. Now, of course, Thanos looks a little different in this than we get in Infinity War, but that's okay. None of us care. I'm never going to hold that against them because I think they were still kind of like, because he looks a little different than he did at the end of the Avengers movie too.
Yeah,
in this movie, and
they're
so they're kind of like, okay,
up. Yeah.
So now maybe he looked a little too this or that, so let's polish up a little more, right? So I appreciate, I understand that being. I would hate to see Thanos, like an Infinity War style movie early on because they probably would have went as accurate as possible, and what we ended up getting in Infinity War and on is way better. You know what I mean? It's way better, and it looks way better. And of course, technology-wise, we got there too with it. So it turned out that way. I gotta tell you guys, and this is where Sammy and we're gonna clash right off the bat, and we need to. I was gonna wait till later, but it's impossible to talk about this movie because every scene this person is in, I am just like, what the hell? And this Ronan the Accuser, man, I'm sorry, dude. He just is. I mean, him and his stupid, pouty, monotone face. Like I don't like him. I think he looks cool. Okay. Ish. Until you see his face. But he's just got like this pouty thing going on. And like, I was so underwhelmed with his introduction. I'm not a fan of it. Like, okay, so he smashes a guy with a hammer in his head. This is some guy, though. It's not, I don't know. I will say his introduction is better than the rest of what I get out of the film. So let's just say this. They did a great way of introducing him. I'm glad that we understand that he's doing things for Thanos. And I like that Thanos is involved. Because this is actually pretty big if you think about it. This is like, he's more involved in this than he is in anything else until you get to Infinity War. I just really was kind of like, oh, this guy's going to be our guy? Like, And I felt that the first time I saw this movie. And I feel worse about it in the retrospective. Especially watching it 2 times. Like, I watched it once all the way through, but I had to go back and watch a lot. So I went back and watched a lot of his stuff again to really solidify. I want to make sure I'm being fair. And I'm struggling liking this guy, right? His voice choices from the start to me are like, oh, that's just bland. He doesn't sound scary. He doesn't look scary. He just can seem scary at this point because of who he's got behind him. So that's what also doesn't work for me, I'll have to say. So I don't know. But to go back to a little bit about what does work a lot is I do like seeing Peter Young. I think that is a genius move. I want to pass it to you because I know we're going to have some contention here on a couple different things, but I got to tell you, I'll jump right to the what didn't work, and I'll say it right then and there. That's my only problem right here is this guy. I'm just not feeling it. You know, it's like he's got the dullness of the villain from Thor: The Dark World, but he doesn't have the swagger of the villain from Thor: The Dark World.
That's interesting.
So it's like
take.
he's a double whammy of, oh, you're boring and you're dull. For me.
So you'd
so far.
You'd probably put Malekith above him then.
Yes. Right now.
Ooh. Wow.
Right now. Okay. I mean, if we're talking in the introduction of him, you know, yeah.
That's an interesting take. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, you did. You kind of.
I mean, well,
we've talked a little before about some of this, but you're going to find the depths of my problem with him now in this retrospective. So.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. So what worked for you? And ease right into what didn't work.
Okay.
Because I did the same. I didn't have a lot for what didn't work, to be honest. Because otherwise, I mean, this is a great start. There's great scenes here. I love all this stuff, and it's hilarious. You know, this is a good time. And honestly, you know, just to cap off what works is he took big swings cosmically of showing aliens, and like we'll just. All of a sudden, we're in this huge, holy cow, we're in this huge whole world, and not once did I flinch.
Oh, yes.
I was like, oh, this, yeah, of course this is
It felt seamless.
Yep.
This
Nice
exactly how it was supposed to be. Don't overthink introducing space and aliens to the MCU. Just do it.
I didn't even notice.
And that's, I
think, this is definitely part of our world.
Yep, I think that's definitely what made it work and fit within the MCU too. It's just that at times you could say it felt like you weren't in the MCU, but in our reality, you were. And there was one of the things I liked, and we touched upon it in the beginning and the history behind the movie, but it really is shown a lot here, is using the practical effects and having people actually dress up as these beings. It's not all CGI, you know, things like that. I love that. I love those times where you could get actors or even background characters. You make them all yellow, all blue, all green, whatever. And there's something about that quality that will never diminish as opposed to the computer graphic version of them type thing. And I'm happy that James Gunn took that swing. I will say James Gunn did a great job at bringing these characters to life and introducing them to the whole world. Because to be honest, these characters, unless you are a super hardcore fan of Marvel, your average audience does not know these. Your casual Marvel fans do not know these characters just because they were cool in the comics when you read the comics, but when you go to the comic book store or something and you're looking at all the comics to pick from, you pick up Thor, Captain America, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, you pick up those big titles. Those other ones would be like, yeah, Marvel made those too, and they're in the same universe, but maybe they have good stories, maybe not. Who knows? He took that and said, this is what I want to do. And Marvel's like, we want to introduce space. Why don't you introduce this team? And there you go. And it was brilliant.
Yeah, I full disclosure, I was one of them of people at the time when they said, well, the next one is Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like, who's that?
Me too.
And then it was described to me, and I'm just like, a talking raccoon in a tree. Then I even was like, oh, this is when Marvel turns into those things that, shit, we're not going to like this. Yep. Man, was I wrong? It was fine. It was like, oh, this is great.
I remember seeing this with my mom. Our mom in Warsaw when we went to see it, just a small little local theater. I was blown away. I was shocked at how good this movie was. And I'm like, you know, I never thought I'd like a talking raccoon and a talking tree, but his three little words were perfect. It was just perfect. Funny that Vin Diesel does it, to be honest. It's so cool. But anyways, so what worked for me, most of the first act worked for me. I love I agree with you that I think starting on Earth and setting that emotional tone for Peter was perfect. you see his mom dying. Ironically, I don't know if you knew this, but I knew about this beforehand, without doing any other looking too deep into it, because I recognize the actress. She's the same actress from the first Avengers, Captain America movie that Steve was kissing when Peggy walked around the corner.
Oh, cool.
I
I didn't know
noticed
that.
her face as soon as I saw it,
Interesting.
and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. It's the same one. I think they just did it because they're like, great actress. Let's keep her here. I don't think they're the same character.
That's really cool, though. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I thought it was a really great way to set the tone of the movie, the emotional stakes right there. Not stakes as in you're gonna feel like that. Like, how do I say this properly? Just the emotional tone, not the stakes. From the very beginning of Star-Lord just lost his mama, and he's running out into a field and he's crying, and then out of nowhere, something you'd hear from the tin hat people is like a big spaceship just looks right at him and it's like, vroom, suck him up, and be like, okay, here we go, we're going to space.
Yeah, here we go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I feel like for me at least, and I have to revisit some of the past movies we've already done a retrospective on. I distinctly remember this time seeing the Marvel logo and hearing it. It's not the same Marvel logo we have where all the concept art is there and all that stuff and it's doing the cool montage. We get that later, I think in phase 3. But I distinctly remember hearing for the first time when I watched this movie, dun, 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 the whole thing.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
And I think it was there before, but this one, it really felt like, you really felt it.
Yeah, it's almost like this is like,
Like,
I know what you're
welcome,
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, like welcome into the family, Guardians of the Galaxy. And it was perfect. And then I love how they went from that to the scene of him, and I didn't catch this when I caught this while I was doing my retrospective watching it, but I don't remember catching it where he lands on that I think it's Morag, something like
Yeah,
that.
Morag. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And he where he's looking for the orb. I didn't realize that was a deserted and destroyed town, and he puts up a hologram that you can actually see, kind of like Google Maps right there, and you can actually see what was going on. He follows the trail to where it is.
Yeah, it's real cool stuff.
I didn't even remember that, and because I just remember going right to the music scene and him singing with the rats and all that stuff. I thought that was cool. But that was pretty dope. That was pretty
Yeah,
dope.
that's great stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you, Chris
CGI
Pratt,
off the bat is like, whoa.
Oh, CGI,
Yeah.
amazing. When they use it, great.
Yeah.
And just so good. Yeah, a lot of this, I love the characters introducing themselves to each other. I do think that scene was cool. I'll get into a part that I don't think worked too well for me, but that's just for a retrospective review. For what worked for me, I love his interaction with the guy that he was originally going to sell it to, and as soon as he found out that Ronan was involved, he's like, I want nothing to do with it. And I thought that was, I love his dialogue with Gamora and how Gamora's playing it coy, and then she just goes right on in and just starts, and the whole chase and Stanley's cameo, really cool.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yep.
Yeah, I just liked how they all met. I thought that was really cool. It was over just like that though, but it's okay. The story had to continue and they had to get caught and all that stuff, so I get it. But um that was cool. And I agree with you for the lineup part. A great way to do exposition, right?
Exposition. Yeah.
Exposition, sorry. Exposition. Short, but doesn't feel forced.
Right.
That's one of the things that I think, if I remember right, and when we do retrospective on the DCEU, we will talk about that. But I remember for the Suicide Squad, because they were introducing so many characters, they had to do Amanda Waller exposition on it. And some of it felt a little forced, and you can tell when things are feeling forced or not. But this one felt very organic, very natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it.
It was like a part of the story that was for it.
Yes.
Like the point is he's telling this guy about these guys, and it's like we're just listening in.
Yeah, and exactly. It wasn't just someone reviewing files. They were in the process of booking them because they all been arrested. Really great way of storytelling it. Yeah, smart without having to go into too much detail. Very good. Introduction to the prison, that was really cool too.
And meeting Drax.
Yeah. And
love it.
Yeah, so good. I guess the only other part I haven't talked about yet, which I know it's not your favorite part, but I tell you, it was one of my favorite parts, and I'll explain a little bit on why I could be a little more critical on this, but I knew of Ronan the Accuser before this movie. As a matter of fact, when I went into this movie, I had no idea who the Guardians were, but I knew who Ronan was. I had read about him in some Fantastic Four comics. I saw him in some of the cartoons. I'm like, all right, I'm familiar with this guy. And I wondered if they were going to do him cartoony, if he was going to come off bland or whatever. And I have an opposite view than you do of him.
Mm.
He is one of my favorite villains the MCU has ever done.
Oh, no. Sammy.
From comic accuracy to the menacingness, I remember feeling it in the movie theater. And when I did my first watch of this, those same feelings came right back. I'm like, oh, this guy is good.
You gotta remind me as we go at what point he's menacing.
Oh,
because I have trouble with it. Because he pretty much doesn't really do much except talk a lot of crap.
I will point them out when we get there because
this introduction to
almost every scene he is menacing.
Oh,
he does something
in this scene. He is all like, oh, "Okay, I'm part of that. Okay, Thanos." Big old lip comes out, and he's got this weird like monotone voice.
When they're setting him up, and that it shows that like you're sleeping in this stuff, I'm like, that's a little weird. I will admit to that, but then everything after that is like, wow, the ladies putting the stuff on him, putting the attire on, and then when he just
guy can't even dress himself.
He sets the tone. Well, when you're as big as he is, why dress yourself when you have all these women do it for you?
Yes.
You know,
but he doesn't do anything else for himself either. That's the thing.
And he sets the tone with killing that guy, and then you see how the blood goes down. Like, oh my gosh, that was to me. I was like, wow, this dude. He's trying to set the tone in the very beginning that this guy is a bad dude, and you don't want to cross him, and how everyone reacts about him. Wow, I love for the storytelling perspective that they've set it up where Xandar and the Kree have a peace treaty. And it's Ronan that's being the radical that's out there doing stuff. And Glenn Close's character there. Everything she's in is amazing, by the way. So it's great to see another legacy actress like this, like we see in Robert Redford and all these other ones that are into one of these roles. So good, so good. Anyways, seeing her talk to like the other ambassador, whoever it is from the Kree, and he's like, "That sounds like your problem," and he hangs up, and she's like, "What a prick!" I'm like, "Yes, yeah. I agree. I completely agree with you, Glenn Close." Anyways, I love how they set up a little bit for that. It touches really upon a lot of Ronan's backstory in the comics too about him, and that he is this grand judge that would issue these like execution style decrees. And then when he didn't even get along with his own people, he just went and he did his own thing. And I loved how they tied it into he's working with Thanos, because of course you got to continue Thanos' story going on. This is a great first step at really diving into the Infinity Stones as we knew of them as the Infinity Stones, you know. So I believe this is the movie where we get, and that's in Act 2, and we'll get there when we get there, but that's when we first find out about the whole thing about the Infinity Stones. So it was really cool as an audience perspective. So that way people who aren't fans of the comics, now you know what we know, and we could go on from there.
And that's what the problem with Ronan I have is you just said things to me that the movie never tells me about. And this is why we're doing this podcast as well, because I'm that side of the coin in our duo here of I'm watching these specifically with the movies in mind.
Mm-hmm.
You bring the comic aspect into it. So sure, you understand things about Ronan that you're excited to see that they may have gotten 100% correct.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not understand why he's called Ronan the Accuser at all. I saw him as a henchman of Thanos that doesn't like Thanos and is looking for his own way to succeed into some sort of... Thanos is going to do for him the thing he's going to do anyways in the long run. I don't even quite understand his turn later, other than he's a power hungry and thinks he can win. I really think Thanos overshadows this guy in this. And I mean that in like the worst way, because Thanos should overshadow because he's the big one, right? He's the big guy. But in the sense of why even trust this dude? Like this, I can't think of it. I can't think of a moment in this introducing him of who is Ronan and what's he about. And they had 2 different times or 3 different times they could have gave me that little bit of exposition about Ronan himself. But he's just called Ronan the Accuser. I don't understand what that means. I don't know who this guy is. I know him as much as I know the rest of the people in this movie.
Mm.
So he comes off as just a pouty face doing the work for Thanos' henchmen, being babysat by Thanos' daughter that he doesn't even like. You know, it's like, I don't know. I just don't see, there's the lack of character build and depth from the start with him is my problem, is I just don't know who he is or where he's from or what he's about. Yes, we learn a few things as we go. I'm not going to say we don't, but I don't understand his place in the world. In fact, if it wasn't for Glenn Close having that conversation with them on the thing about, hey, he's doing his own thing, I wouldn't have even understood that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and to be honest with you, it almost felt throwaway because it really meant nothing in the long run. You know, it's kind of like he's just a guy with a big hammer called Ronan the Accuser who wants to destroy this place because he's got a beef with him, basically, is all I understand. Like, I'm going to get this thing for you, and then you're going to use this thing to destroy the thing that you promised me you would, and that's our deal. Like, who is Ronan to Thanos? Is he a hired gun, or is he a guy that just promises to help him? I mean, I don't quite understand, because he kind of gets away with a lot with Thanos. I see where they're going with it, but I don't feel like they set me up for someone that has not read the comics, and I'm just someone coming in watching this movie. I got more out of who Malekith is in the first 10 minutes of Thor than I did of who Ronan is at this point. So I'm just not afraid of this guy, because honestly, at this point,
Mm-hmm.
if you were to ask me back when I first saw this movie, I couldn't tell you who the main bad guy is yet. Because we got like 3 of them right there already. 2 for sure. But, is it going to be Nebula? Is it going to be this guy with a hammer, Ronan? Or wait, Thanos is right there. We're going to see a lot of him in this. And because of that, I'm just not sold on him yet. And the problem is, for me, they never really do sell him to me.
See, I never watched this movie thinking he's a henchman of Thanos. There's a couple of times in particular where he makes it very clear that we're doing a deal back and forth. I'm going to do this for you if you do this for me. And even Ronan says it in one of the first things that he says when he does start talking is that I get you the orb, and he doesn't know, and that make it very clear later on that he never knew a power stone was in the orb.
I understand.
So that makes sense why he'd be like, I want to keep it. Because if you're going to do the same thing, I can do this. I didn't know that this is anything special, He knew Thanos wanted it, but he didn't know that was going to be the thing that Thanos was going to use to just destroy it, or else he would have just done it himself. That's where he cuts the ties and he tries to go in it alone. And he underestimates not only the power, I think, but also who the Guardians really are. But anyways.
So are you telling me that he's underestimating Thanos then? He's got to be. Because everyone, whenever you bring up Thanos' name, is like, oh, that guy. But he is willing to,
Ronan doesn't care. He knows that Thanos is a big tyrant that's out there that has done stuff.
He's
and
formidable.
has formidable, yes. But he sees himself on equal playing field with Thanos. Which I'm sure if they went toe to toe, of course Thanos would demolish him.
No, for sure.
There's no question. But in Ronan's mind, because he was the big accuser, they call him Ronan the Accuser, but also in the Kree world, which I get it. You wouldn't have known this because they didn't explain his backstory a lot in the movie. They just started him off from one point, and I wouldn't say you were expected to know, but those who did know would have enjoyed it, like myself, probably a lot more than those who didn't know. So, which I actually feel like we were kind of let down with the end of of Captain Marvel 1 when he came back as a younger version of him, and you could have seen what he could have actually done, but they never fulfilled that, but whatever. We'll get to that movie when we get to that movie, because that was my problem there. But for this movie, for Ronan, this is the Ronan that I liked of all the Ronans I ever saw of the comics. Like, they brought him into this movie, and from my perspective, they did him justice. Now, whether that translated right to people that didn't know about him before, you can give that viewpoint, because you would
It
have
comes
that
off
I don't have.
lacking a lot of when you don't know anything about this guy
Mhm.
other than what you see in the movies,
Mhm.
he's pretty dull.
Mm.
And I will say the voice, they didn't. I don't know if it was choice, but I don't think. I kind of wish the director. I wish James would have walked up to him and said, "Hey, try something different. Like, go a little wild. Give us a little bit more of something." Because he really just, sometimes when he was talking, I was just like, "Oh my God, dude." There is. I mean, I do have other issues other than the not knowing the backstory. That's the biggest problem I have, is he comes off dull because you don't really ever learn anything about this guy ever. But also I don't think the actor will suffice for this role. I think he played it pouty and monotone, and the moments that you were supposed to see like an edge to him really come off as like, ugh, that was corny, or did not. It just didn't set. But we'll
Wow.
get to those scenes later.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. I don't know. It really is. He just, every time I saw him, he rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm just like, I can't even think of a cool thing you did.
Oh.
Not one.
Wait, when we get to our best villain moments, I wrote down 4 because I couldn't pick one.
I picked one.
It's
and you're not gonna like it.
his death, probably. But anyways, which that's actually something I didn't like about the movie, but whatever. I liked. Okay, I'm jumping ahead. We're gonna get to Act 3 and get to Act 2, and I'll fully explain my thoughts there. But for Act 1, to wrap this guy up, I liked majority of the opening act. I did like the villain. I liked the heroes, how we met them. The only thing that I would say that didn't work for me, and I didn't realize I'd feel this way until I did the retrospective review, and I'm analyzing this.
Oh no. I didn't read, so.
Gamora is underwhelming for me.
Oh my God.
What
are you talking about?
You go into this thinking that she is what they call her in the beginning of the movie, I wrote down the deadliest woman in the galaxy. And I thought, okay, that's a title. That's something then. I want to see it. I did not see it. She is on par with Black Widow to me.
On par? She would kick Black Widow's ass.
I don't know.
Oh, I know. Look, I mean, come on.
I'd love to see it. If Marvel, you could figure out a way to do it in Secret Wars, go ahead. But I don't think that.
You don't think their reputation might come from? Okay, you finish your point first. Then I'll attack you.
I know exactly where you're gonna go at. The reputation becomes Thanos' daughter. I get it. Yeah, but in that case, I don't know if that makes it better or worse, because it's name only. You are this because you're the daughter of Thanos, as opposed to you are this because you can stand on your own 2 feet. She stands on her own 2 feet here. I give you that there. That's this whole point of this movie for her, is her way of getting out of being under Thanos' thumb is, I'm gonna reluctantly hang out with all these other people that she finds inferior to her, but she also knows that's her ticket out of there, and she ends up staying, and they form a relationship, and yada yada yada. You get there, but
oh my God! I just want to tear into you right now. Okay, go ahead. No, it's fine. I got you. I
like Zoe. I think she's a great actress, and I think the times when she's like just talking and just having conversations and that type of acting, really good. And I think it definitely is not Black Widow. I'll say that there's a clear difference there. But when it comes to some of the action parts, I'm like, it's a green space Black Widow. And so to me, it was a little you found Ronan underwhelming. I found her underwhelming.
Oh man.
So we're going to come
I
out
don't
with
see-
two different spots, guys.
See, I don't read her that way. When I'm looking at her, I look at someone that could kill all of them at any time that she wants to, but she doesn't. And what to explain their first meeting and this taking the thing, that's just her underestimating these guys that look like they wouldn't be worth anything. They stepped up to the plate rather than her not being able to meet them there. And it's like, I think it was, if Star-Lord didn't come up out of that bag with the gun and shot her, which I love how as she opens it, he comes right out like he's waiting for them to open it to do it.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, he's got tricks, and so she's learned, okay, you guys are a little more spicier than I thought, which just shows how formidable they are, which is why they can be a hero group, right? Because they're more formidable than others, and she sees that. But once she has their card, they're pretty much at her disposal at this point. If she can't figure out a reason why they should be with her to help her out, she's walking away from it. She almost leaves Star-Lord behind. Say, we don't need him. And they're like, oh, wait a minute, he's got the thing, so we have to wait for him. It's like she's not as cuddly and is. Oh no, I think she's the deal. I think she's like a better than Black Widow. When I say better, I don't mean character-wise better. I'm not sure who I like more. I do enjoy Zoe a lot more than Scarlet in some of these roles. I think Zoe's funnier, especially because she's like being an alien. Some things are different, like humor is different, so it's funnier, in that sense. But I think she'd kick Black Widow's ass, man. Like I think there's a reason why they never paired them in a fight, and they fought together at one point, but not against each other, because they wouldn't want to admit to what that could look like.
I don't think they've ever met in the MCU.
Did they not fight together when? Oh wow!
Black Widow was dead in Endgame when they were doing
in Infinity War. She didn't fight with her.
Infinity War, she was.
So they never met. Yeah,
she had already died actually when most of that stuff happened.
That's right. So I apologize. Yeah. For some reason I pictured her there, but it wasn't. It was her and Wanda and the one Wakanda girl there. That fought.
Okoye.
Yeah. So I apologize. So for some reason I keep seeing Gamora in that scene. Isn't that weird? How your mind does that to you guys? But. Yeah, no, I don't get what you're saying, what you're laying down. I'm not getting, because they don't. Slowly, we understand what she's doing as we go, which I will say, in defense of that, that's kind of why I'm saying at first with Ronan, I had a problem because he rubbed me the wrong way from the beginning. Okay. There's things about him I don't like. Other than the fact they're not explaining them. So technically you could say they've underexplained Gamora as well. Although what I'm seeing of her, I'm interested in. And that's the difference between her and Ronan to me, is what I'm seeing of him, I'm not interested in at all. And you're underexplaining him. At least with her, I want to know more. With him, I'm just like, do we have someone better? Like, do we have someone scarier? For me, because he just comes off as a whiny butt. And she is very formidable, I think. But you also learn later on she's a good person. That's why she doesn't just kill Peter and take the thing. I think she does have a reputation. I don't think that she gets that name with standing next to Thanos just because. I think that she's been seen doing things. She's had to have, or he wouldn't trust her like he does either. You got to remember, it's not just her reputation with everybody else in name only. Thanos trusts her as well, which means, and when we learn about Thanos later, being a retrospective, guys, we also have to remember that we've seen these movies already. He trusts her more than he trusts the other one. What's her name? Nebula. Which is funny because the way Nebula acts, that's the one he should trust. Oh, because Nebula's hardcore about. She's loyal. You want it done? I'll do whatever the hell you want me to do.
While he's insulting her to her face.
Yeah, she's loyal until she thinks she has a way out.
Yeah, that's right. When he's like, "You upset my favorite daughter," and then Nebula's like, "Thanks, Dad." And then she's like, "I'll go do your bidding." Be like,
"Yeah."
Oh my God.
So Gamora's not his favorite daughter unless she can kill, because that's what he likes. So she's got a reputation that she's clearly earned for sure. So I don't know why you. I get it. I see where you're coming from with it. I kind of get it, but I got to tell you.
I'll give you she has more flavor than Ronan in a different way.
More flavor. He's like a saltine cracker.
And
a blue saltine cracker.
And when you're sick, you need saltine crackers.
Or soup.
Anyways.
Which she has none of.
Oh, jeez. Well,
this is gonna be fun.
No, it's gonna be fun. So
I just don't. I understand it. You know what? Once again, it's all subjective. But I definitely, what you feel about her, I feel double about Ronan for sure. Where I feel like, what's his reputation? Because right now there's none for him, and her at least I can say, well, she is Thanos' favorite daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's got it. If you're the biggest, baddest, his favorite daughter, then you're something. Ronan's who? I haven't read a comic book, so I'm sorry. Unfortunately. Yeah, I'm glad, though. What I am happy, I will say this for your sake. You're wrong about Gamora, for one. For two, I do understand, though, that if you knew Ronan more so before, then there probably are things that you're like, yeah, that's what I pictured for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that. I'm just saying this movie failed to do that for us people that don't know.
Mm.
That's I guess that's where I'm coming from with it.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, and then some character choices make me really could care less about who this guy is, which overall will hurt this movie in the long run for me.
You didn't find when Ronan twisted the head with his hammer there of Thanos' minion or henchman, literal servant guy there, spokesperson, whatever the thing is. You didn't find that menacing?
No.
I found it like he's thinking, you're annoying, I'm killing you, I don't care if you're Thanos's. And it's like, wow, that's some balls right there.
In fact, if we're going to talk about that scene for a second, I found it very distasteful towards Thanos, too. Part of me was like, I don't like that scene at all. There's nothing about that scene I like. I don't like Thanos in that scene. I don't like Nebula in that scene. I don't like Ronan in that scene. I don't like him kill. I'm like, this is dumb. I don't even like that it happened because I know what they're trying to do, and technically it would have worked. But now I'm kind of thinking, well, who's the pushover here? Is it Thanos? Because if this whoever he just killed was Thanos' talking head right there, and Thanos is just going to be like, blah, 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 whatever. And later when he tells Thanos, I'm coming for you, and Thanos just kind of smiles and disappears, I'm like, that is stupid. Oh, man, I almost actually, what they did with Thanos in this movie almost made me worry about what Thanos was going to be like later. As we went on into the MCU, I was kind of like, oh, I hope he's not like that dumbass we got. Like, do something more with him. Like, let's just wait and see. Because the rest of the MCU is doing so good, I was just like, how bad can it be, right? If they give him this guy. But if you're gonna tell me the best hype we ever got of Thanos was the one shot in Avengers. Because the rest of the hype we get from him until we actually get him is kind of let down because of this secondary, unknown bad guy that I have no connection to caring about, acts the way he does with him, and he just, And I'm like,
I got the completely different interpretation of that. I took it as kind of like Thanos is like a dad and be like, oh, you're just a whiny little brat. So what? You killed that guy? I don't care. I'll bathe the starways in your blood, is what he said to him.
He does say that, but it is kind of like.
And when he smirked and faded away, when he's like, I got the power now, blah, 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 he's just like, go ahead.
Yeah, a little kid.
That's what I interpret.
Well, it definitely didn't help Ronan, then, I'll tell you that. Like,
no.
So, I mean, either way.
It was Ronan's own stubbornness that really got him killed more than
and I'm being nitpicky about how Thanos should, because, I mean, technically, what's he going to come down off the throne, just kill Ronan right there, as the rest of the movie's done, right? So I get it. Like, obviously, it wasn't going to do much. You could have had a little more of something there, like, I don't know. It just felt real bland. It got Ronan come off as very twisting my mustache kind of guy, and it really bugged me in that moment. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Other than, Gamora probably would kick the crap out of Black Widow, and I don't know why Gamora hater over here.
So, I wouldn't call myself a Gamora hater.
No, I wouldn't say that either. I'm just joking.
I'm
surprised you're underwhelmed, though, because I'm not at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a hot take to me.
For me, she just felt like just another fighting character. It didn't. There was nothing. She felt like one of those characters that you just need in this ensemble because you need an assassin female.
I don't get that at all. I don't.
You need a love interest with Peter. That's how I got from this.
No, I don't get that at all.
The relationship gets better and becomes one of my favorite relationships within the MCU.
Does it develop into more to you towards the end of this movie? Or do you feel like this about her through the whole thing? I'm only wondering because as we go forward, I'd be curious to see.
In Act 3, Gamora gets better for me.
Okay.
In Act 3.
Okay, but when we get there, I'll see what we'll talk about it then.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because Ronan doesn't get better for me. But for her, I could see, at least through weird foggy glasses, see what you can see. I still don't agree with it.
There's only one moment of Ronan in this movie that I'm like, okay. But that's it. There's only one moment.
Oh.
And we'll get there when we get there. It's mainly because he's not doing anything. And I'm like, you're Ronan. You've been doing stuff this whole time. Now you're freezing? What's wrong with you? But we'll get there.
I don't know what he's doing the entire time. We'll have to talk about it. Yeah, all right.
What's your standout moment in Act 1?
Standout moment in Act 1 is, excuse me. I think I'm gonna take the lineup scene because one of my funniest moments is in Act 1. I'm not gonna put that as a standout one though. But yeah, I think that I like that a lot. At that moment. I remember back when I first saw this movie, it was that moment when I realized, I'm in on this. Because at first I was still kind of raccoon tree. I'm like, okay, this is different. Then once we got through the lineup stuff, I'm like, yeah, I'm in on these guys. I'm curious to see where this goes. And this is Vin Diesel acting at his best. He's not good at anything else, really. Sorry, Vin, but this is the best you've done. It's 3 lines.
I am Groot.
Yeah. And then you got to say I am family at the end, or Groot or
we are Groot.
Oh, we are Groot. You don't even get to say family. Sorry, Vin. I just don't think you're that good, bro. So yeah, I mean, you're great when you don't talk.
I feel like they could have, no offense to Vin Diesel, but they could.
Anybody could have done it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that, like I said, no offense to you, Mr. Diesel. Cool. Good for you. You got the role. But they could have saved some money by getting Joe Schmo off the street and say, I am Groot.
Don't worry, they didn't spend a lot on him either. Anyways. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Burn. There's some actors out there like, hey, look, you do better than me. You've accomplished a lot more than me. I won't give you, but I'll tell you, you put yourself in a position to be criticized. And I'm telling you right now, you're one of my least favorite actors out there. You just are. You've got just one movie of yours I like, and it'll be in a dark dimension for sure because it's a great movie. But other than that, I wouldn't know this was you if they didn't tell me, which is good though because I don't know how I feel about you. I think you try. I don't think you're. I don't know. Mm-hmm. You're like an Angelina Jolie for me, which I know. I don't. I just don't believe her.
In other words, you are a great actor.
Oh my gosh. This is going to be a rough one tonight.
All right. Well, for standout moments for me, I wrote down 2. I think one of them is kind of what you had said. You said the lineup scene. Is that you referring to the same thing that I put when they were first being booked in jail and going through? The lineup scene. Then that was one of mine. My other one was Ronan's introduction.
Oh, jeez. It's a standout moment.
His introduction. I can
see you liking it, but it's a standout moment.
His standout moment was better than Malekith's
because he smashes a guy's head.
Oh, that sets a tone. He not just smashes his head. You see the blood run down.
Oh, that's probably Malekith kills most of his people. Even
this is probably the most glorious we've seen of a villain so far.
Well, that might be true, but that doesn't make it whatever.
Malekith did
big old Mr. Pouty Face smashed a guy's head.
What would you? What would you score the first act?
I'd definitely give it. Oh, my Lord. The first act, just because the only stuff in it I don't like is the Ronin thing, I'm going to give the first act about like an 8 out of 10. Yeah, 8 out of 10.
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Ooh, low. Because of Gamora. I just don't see it.
Honestly, what saved this act for me was them all getting together as a group and Ronan.
Whew.
All right, so guys, we're moving on to Act 2. Ike, why don't you take it away?
Okay, Act 2, guys. Whew. The 5 misfits escape prison and reluctantly join forces. Hoping to sell the orb. They discover it contains the Power Stone, one of the Infinity Stones, capable of destroying entire worlds. Tensions within the group rise as Drax seeks revenge on Ronan. Drax's reckless actions bring Ronan to them, leading to Gamora's capture, the loss of the Power Stone to Ronan, and a desperate rescue mission. During these trials, the group slowly transformed from selfish criminals into loyal allies willing to fight for something bigger than themselves.
Mm.
So what worked for you here, Sam?
Oh, I misspelled a word. The group as a whole.
Oh,
I just want to. Autocorrect. Not that type of hole. They were great. It was I liked seeing their personalities get together, and I love the bonding moment of them drinking. And Rocket says, "That's the smartest thing you've ever said so far." to
Drax.
Drax. Drax is he's quite the character in this. I'm actually shocked. I was looking at my notes briefly. I'm like, why didn't I put him as this? But I will put him as this when we get to that spot, or at least add him into this, because we'll get there when we get there for our deep dives. But he's he was different for me in the beginning, but he's one of those for me that I grew to love.
Yeah.
Because you find out about his character and that's just how he is type thing, and be like, oh, so
You quickly fall for this guy.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and that you can easily see the comedy you can write with this guy, like, so well, like, opens up a whole book of stuff you could do, and I know when we get to the second Guardians movie, they really exploit that a lot, which I can't wait to talk about, but for this movie, great introduction for him. First time we get to see a Celestial in the movies too, so you get to hear a little bit about the origin of the stones. I love what worked for me too was them learning about the stones, and we as an audience learning it with them. That's a great way for us to know the bigger picture that they're trying to tell and paint, but we're learning it through these misfits here. And I think that's probably the best way to describe them all, because they all have something that's odd about them, whether it's their origin or their characters themselves. Really good. Uh, I liked what each one of them do. There are actually scenes. Is it in this one? I want to say. Yeah, it's towards the end of Act 2 that I start liking Gamora more than what I was first introduced with to her. I still don't think the title is there yet, but I do start liking her more as a character in this one. I like seeing her personality come out more as a character. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, it really was just the characters overall. I loved that Drax called Ronan, because I'm like, wow, you're such an idiot. But at the same time, it's just great for storytelling purposes, and that he shows up.
Well, it makes sense for him to do that, though.
It does.
It is
yeah.
dumb that he doesn't realize what's going on,
Yeah.
but he also, that's his goal, is to just kill, he wants to kill him. Yeah.
Yeah, and that also makes this part of their bonding experience when Rocket later says to him, "You idiot, why'd you do that? Because we didn't need to go through all that. You weren't ready to fight him yet." And then even Drax realizes, hey, the raccoon's right. It's a great moment for them to be like, to come down on each other's level, because that's what you get when you get all these type of characters together. There are criminals, outlaws, assassins, bounty hunters, whatnot. They all feel like they're higher than each other, and then it's their choices and their reactions and the circumstances that bring them down to the same level wherever that falls. And that's perfect moment for them to have some sort of a mutual respect for each other. Be like, hey, I think you're stupid, but I still like you, type thing. Anyways, each one of them experienced that here. Let's see. What didn't work for me? Should I just jump right into that, or should I just? No, actually, you go. What worked for you?
What worked for me? Some of the similar stuff that you said, their clashing of personalities works real well because it's like there's a learning process that they're going through about each other as they go. And what really worked, one thing off the bat, I'm going to say, this celestial head is nowhere. I love that it's like the rest of the world or galaxy or the universe were like bugs to them, just mining their brain matter and stuff. Just like something would, if you died and put it in the ground, right? There's things that's going to feed off of different stuff of your body. It's like, I liked that. I like that. And James is the type to bring that kind of, and he does that in all of these, like in all of them, really, and I enjoy seeing that aspect. I like that it's just some celestial head floating around and they're all just going in and out of it, The collector worked. I like that whole scenario.
Yeah.
Love that whole thing in there.
So,
Benicio del Toro, great. Is that, I wouldn't say it was phenomenal. I wouldn't say it was a standout. I wouldn't give him an Oscar for it, but he fit the character well and it was good. And he was weird.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm kind of sad we didn't get more of him later because this was kind of all we ever really get of him. We get little glimpses of him here and there.
Yeah.
In other spots, but I would have liked to get him as much as we got Jeff Goldblum. Because they're related, right?
Yeah, actually.
Or at least their characters.
I think they're
either brothers
or
they're just from the same race or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's to me, it's like the concept of those characters would be interesting. But we didn't get a lot of him, And yes, their clash of personalities, the comedy and all this is great. One thing that works well for me with James Gunn in this storyline is he takes big swings with things. And the swings I like that get taken in Guardians of the Galaxy, this Volume 1, and I think he does it in the other two as well, is just when you think, I know where this story's going, it might still get to that spot that you could guess, but how it gets there makes it complicated and fun. And you're guessing differently. Oh, wait a minute. They go to rescue them in the ship. And it's just funny that he's like, no, wait, yeah, we're okay. We made a deal. And he's like, oh, well, okay. It's like fun. It's like someone call it anticlimactic, but I call it like it's kind of funny that it turns out that way.
Yeah.
And I like that James does not shy away from an opportunity to do emotional moments amongst either action or comedy. Like we're still going to get a raw thing out of Rocket where he doesn't like being called names, and here he is drunk and freaking out, and it's them, hey, calm down, and then you realize, oh, this isn't just a skit, there's emotionalness here. Like there's something to this character here because of that, or the times when Peter even looks over and notices all his back and how messed up it is, you know what I mean? Like little moments like that, that, or Peter saving Gamora here, it goes heavy emotional and like in big. And it's like, oh, wow, this is what's happening here. You know what I mean? And when you see it for the first time, Peter's not going to die. That. But it's just the fact that he's willing to, or shows how good of a person he is. And I think it is in this segment when you realize one thing that really stuck out to me is you realize that he's getting his tape player back, and it's like this already, but it's him saying it to Gamora and talking about it solidifies it, that he's learning who his mother is through the music that she put together for him. And that's like a level of emotional stuff in this movie that is what makes me, I just can't help but fall in love with this character and what's happening. Like it's not just his music. It's not just music that his mom gave him. For Peter, this is learning who his mom is as he's listening to the music. And you understand that later, too, when he reads the letter for the next tape, that, oh, she's compiled music for him to listen to for him to understand her more and who she, and she was happy. She was like in that time, in that era where she was having a good time. Listen, when we get to Guardians too, clearly she's a hippie. Like look how she's hanging out with, Kurt Russell. Like she's a hippie kind of girl, and he's like that too. And but it's like he's learning that free spirited, loving nature about her and being good and how you feel through the music that she's doing. So that makes it when James Gunn picks the music for this, he's in the theme of the movie, but also it's thinking of it as through a character to another character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, man, that just adds that level of this really works. This oddness, crazy group of people that I'm believing him liking Gamora, and she's starting to fall for him. I believe it because I like how she acts the first time he tries to touch her hand. She goes, "Oh no, I know you. I'm not gonna fall for your tricks." It's like, because she kind of is, and she's like, "Wait a minute, get out of here." It's like, you can see him saving her life meant a lot to her, and because he was forfeiting his own, really, because he didn't know what was gonna happen. He was hoping that the Ravagers would show up, and they did,
Mm-hmm.
but he went out there willingly, knowing that they might not. Because he knew it was the right thing to do. And it's because he's been spoken to by his mom this whole time, listening to this. He might be a criminal. He might be someone that steals, but he's got a heart. He is the reason why they do good things, truthfully. Because in the scene when they're sitting there arguing about stuff, he's the one that says, no, we can't let this guy kill all these people. We just can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he still might be a criminal, but he's someone that wouldn't let he wouldn't do something awful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he has a moral compass that he gets from his mother through those songs, which happens to be the best soundtrack for this movie, but also a soundtrack from a character to another character. To me, that's just deep. And that goes on levels that I love about it. I love about that so much.
That's a great perspective on it, and it does even touch when it gets to Act 3 when he says, "Take my hand," and he remembers he never took his mom's hand, and this time he decides to do it. I get that, how you explained to me, that made that scene there in Act 3 make more sense to me than just a regret of not touching my mom's hand. More of an extension of another woman that I love. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, she's such a good mom that even in her death, she's still teaching her son to be a good man.
Yeah.
And that's deep. And I'm just like, that's fantastic.
I appreciate this movie in a lot more of a level now, hearing that, really, because I've never heard it explained that way. So thank you. That's really cool.
Now, if Ronan could just make some sense, this movie'd be perfect. Because now Ronan shows up and he fights with Drax and he just plays around with him.
Yeah,
it's like, why?
He basically almost kills him.
Well, why he doesn't just kill him right away and get in a ship and go after the orb like everybody else, to me is just, I don't know. It's them trying to make him look sinister and mean, but what it really is just, we don't know what to do with this guy right now. To me, that's what it reads. That's just what it reads. We need to keep Ronan busy. So Drax is going to be able to fight him hard enough, but not hard enough. So we want to make it look like Drax can't beat him because Drax ain't shit to Ronan, which I get. He shouldn't be either. One guy shouldn't be able to beat him that easy. But it's like Ronan playing around like that with it, just entertaining the idea. He's not serious about I don't know. Once again, if I understood Ronan more, I'd understand this side of him more. And I don't. So that's what doesn't work for me.
Well, the thing that doesn't work for me, honestly, this is very nitpicky, you can say, but as I was watching that scene of Gamora floating in space and Peter making the decision to do it, there are parts of it that work really well, but there are things that just stuck out to me of like, you didn't think about some of the logic behind this, that some of the logic didn't make sense to me. Where
I know where you're going, yeah.
He could have, instead of just like trying to, I get it, it's a romantic gesture. The scene is beautifully done, how it's, filmed and everything. And this was supposed to be a very emotional moment. I get it. At this point, I don't think it's gotten that, they haven't progressed that far enough as characters for me to say that emotional moment was valid yet. This would have been better probably if not in Act 3 in the second movie doing something like this, then you would have seen a little more of a connection, because at this point they just met like within 24 hours.
You think this is out of character of Peter?
I don't think it's out of character of Peter. I just think that it's illogical.
For him to go out and save and rescue her like that and risk his own life?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think they're risking his own life. I just think that he didn't have to risk your own life. If that mask would have allowed you to be able to breathe, and that pod was allowing him to be able to breathe, but yet there was no point of like, let me just put her in the pod, or I go back in the pod while she has the mask on. It's like, at that point, you're like choosing to die just to make a statement as opposed to.
Yeah. See, I thought that they said in it that those pods weren't even supposed to be out there.
Rocket does say that those
And I think
pods
that once
weren't
he
designed to
pops
go
it
into
open,
deep space.
though, it means you might as well just be in space at that point, right? That's what I assumed. That it's not we open this and we get back in and it changes. I think once it opens, it's like that's it. The atmosphere that the little you do have is gone. That's what I understood from it.
Well, I could see that. That would make the scene a little more sense. I didn't hear them explain that when I was watching it, and I'm thinking, well, just get back in the ship. What the heck are you doing then?
Right.
So,
no, I get it. It maybe not been that clear. I think I just said, I do distinctly remember them saying how they're not meant to be out there, but I got you.
Mm.
I thought you were going to go a different direction with that.
Oh, what were you thinking?
I thought you were going to talk about like the physics of what would happen to you in space.
Oh,
because it really makes no sense that he's okay and a mask keeps him safe out in space. Because that's how space works.
Yeah,
like you can't be exposed to space. But with that though, this is a superhero movie, and what I will say about what Marvel's done with that idea of things that go on in space is at least they like chose here's our rules of physics and we're gonna stick with them for now on out. So they never contradict this at all. This whole
there are points.
You know what I'm trying to say?
I get what
happens to Star-Lord in space in this happens to everybody in space in the MCU. So it's not like it's only in this movie.
When we
You know what I'm saying?
When we get to Captain Marvel, there are things they don't explain about how she's able to travel in space without a mask. That I don't question it when you see it in Endgame, but part of me is, but it is there.
I assume it's part of her power set.
I'm assuming that too.
That.
But I've also thought her power set mainly involves fire and super strength, and I don't nothing. We'll get to that movie when we get to that because I think
you're right, and we're gonna have the same talk about it because I agree.
Yeah, because there's a lot of great things with that movie, but I think one of the faults that they never followed up with, even if they followed up with in the second movie, I would forgive it from the first movie, was explaining, all right, what skills do you have now? Because you seem to be just like the Superman type thing.
Right.
But with no explanation of how you can do some of this stuff.
Right.
But anyways,
I'm just saying physics-wise, what they chose to do for this movie works.
Yes.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
you can pick it apart,
take it away,
but it doesn't matter to me. I'm cool with because no matter what, exposed as long as they were dead. We're gonna go by the rules of what really happens to you in space. You need more than a mask, ladies and gentlemen. You can't. That's why it's so difficult to be there. But with this, it's I can forgive all of it because it's whatever. It's to me. As long as you don't contradict it later, and they don't, they
keep it pretty consistent.
Yeah, they keep it pretty consistent, at least in the Guardians universe wise.
Yes.
Or even when they blast Squidward out of the ship in Infinity War,
he dies
the same way. You know what I mean? It's consistent. So
they kept this more consistent than they're keeping magic.
Oh, they changed the rules of space and it makes more sense than their freaking magic stuff, which you can just make up. I don't understand that. And they don't got to make it up because it's all written down for them. They just got to use it.
Yeah.
That's even more confusing anyway.
So did the pacing hold up for you in this act?
Yeah. Yes, it did. Like I said, it's other than the scene with Ronan, and you needed Drax and him to be doing something while this chase was going on. That's how it read to me. But it didn't change the pacing though. It definitely, I'm glad we didn't stick around with that fight that long because I could care less. But no, I liked all this. I think the pacing for this held up a lot.
Yep, I agree. I agree with that too. Best character moment in Act 2 for you?
Oh, best character moment in Act 2 for me. I'm gonna give it to Star-Lord. See where I don't know if you feel this way truly about it, but I do think him making that decision to go out and save her life showing a lot more about who he is. And yet, was it earned on his end though? It is. it's not till afterwards when she realized what he did that she starts getting feelings.
I agree.
So for him, it's earned though, because he's kind of a womanizer. We get that from the fact that he's got which is hilarious. I forgot you were even on the ship in the beginning.
Yeah.
But like, so he's kind of like a Captain Kirk in that sense, but like he wants something real. And I think the mystique of her being as dangerous as she is and who she is, and then realizing that she's running away from something that's scary makes him go, oh, we're the same, because he's kind of doing that as well in his own way,
I can see that, yeah.
And I think that was related to him a lot. And I think that he just really felt responsible, and he wanted to take that on. Where moments before she had left him where he was, you know what I'm saying? Like not long before this, she was ready to leave him somewhere to die. And here he is, he pops out of this pod and puts his life on the line for her. And I think that that's like, it shows a lot about him, because, he may have not known that, you know what I mean, that she was going to do that. But he kind of knew that. That's why he kept the orb. Yeah, that's why he, because he wanted to make sure they wouldn't leave him, because they're a bunch of scoundrels, you know what I mean? Like, I know it's earlier and all that, but it's kind of like they're still learning each other at this point too. And at this point, that is the thing that even through Rocket's eyes and all the rest of them, that he's the one that steps forward to show that we're more than just a group of people going for the same thing right now, working together. The fact that he's willing to do that makes it way easier later for them to say, yeah, I could die with you. I could die fighting for you.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And I think that was needed, and because of that, I got to give that to Peter in that moment. So,
yeah, I see that. I like how you explained it better, because it makes the scene a lot more sense, and it actually makes the character development for them make a lot more sense to me as it goes on. I do see the natural progression later, but initially it's still, for me, I'm not seeing the chemistry yet. But those two actors, they do have chemistry together, because I
sure.
remember from the second movie onward, and especially in the third movie too, for Peter's sake, actually in Infinity Wars, where I really see that highlighted, emphasized more. They become one of my favorite pairs in the MCU.
Yeah. And right. For me, one of them had to spark this, right? They had to spark the idea that we're not just criminals banding together because we have it's the same goal, that we are actually becoming a team of people that care about each other. And Rocket wasn't going to do it,
No, but Peter, great.
Right. The rest of them all had all different agendas and things going. Drax is dumb enough to not think about it. Really. He's got one thing on his mind. And, and the tree is a tree. And you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
and she even her was, it's straightforward. I'll do this without you guys if I can. In fact, she'd prefer it, truthfully, at some point. But Peter was like the one that, like I said, his mom teaching him to be a good man, even through her death, it definitely shows. I think that yeah. How about for you?
Okay. Best character.
If you say Ronan, you're gonna need to give me a darn good reason why, because he's just like, all right, you little pissant, let's fight for a few minutes. I'll let all these other people, the Thanos, the guy I don't like, I'll let his daughter go get the thing I really need to get. Come on. He's gonna say it.
Drax fighting Ronan.
Oh my God.
It's my best character moment for both of those characters. And I'll explain why. So, the circumstances of getting them both together, I agree with you that they part of the reason for doing that was to give Drax something to do while everyone else is chasing around the orb and going out into space and doing the rescue there and all that stuff. But when you actually dig into the scenes between them and the dialogue, you learn more about Drax and more about Ronan at the same time. And it's not more about Ronan like his backstory. You learn more about Drax's backstory more in Ronan.
I agree.
But you do see how Drax is formidable enough to at least go toe-to-toe with Ronan. So they're giving each other a run for their money, but the Ronan's going to prevail at the end for just that head-on thing. There's moments of the fight when they're talking to each other and he's saying, "You killed my family," and Ronan says, "You know how many people I've killed? I don't remember your family." And I think that spoke to a little bit of what Ronan's past was, that he's used to slaughtering people. He doesn't care, or he only he will slaughter people in order to get his agenda done. And it speaks to the larger thing that he's doing throughout the whole movie, is that he's has this vendetta against this particular culture and race of people, and he's going to do everything he can to wipe them out, even make a deal with the Mad Titan in order to do so. But besides that, and showing his strengths for Drax's story, I give it to him a little more than I would give it to Ronan, because you really find out that he's doing this not just because he killed his family. It's because of a lot more has gone on for Drax, that he is now having to live with knowing that his family is gone, and how his mental state is, type thing, where sometimes he can't comprehend some things, or he does things that are irrational. It's you could tell it's also part of the trauma of a man living with pain. And he thought that defeating him would have been how to get the pain away, and it isn't. And he jumps into it too hastily, and he almost gets himself killed in doing so. If it wasn't for Rocket the Raccoon bringing Drax out of that, or was it Groot? Either one, those two, getting Drax out of that yellow water, whatever that was, that yellow slime.
Yeah, it's
The membrane.
spinal fluid or whatever. Yeah.
That he would have died, because
Yeah.
he was like unconscious in there. They actually Groot had to do something in order for him to start breathing again.
Yeah, what did he do? Like, did he like poke a hole in his lung and
Yeah,
like
I think he did. I think it
Wow,
was
that
like a
was-
collapsed lung or
that's
something. He
insane.
did that, and it was like
inflated his lung
it's one of
again?
those things where all of a sudden that opened up, he could start breathing again, or
It was pretty wild, actually, when you think about it. It was like,
It was.
whoa.
Yeah. So I think for Drax more so, and it, in the retrospective point of view, we've had a trilogy of the Guardians movies now, and we've seen all these characters here, plus in 2 other spots. And yeah, Drax is technically still alive, but it doesn't sound like Dave Bautista is interested in reprising his role anymore in it, for personal reasons. But this is probably one of the only times, not the only time, because I think in the second movie you get more of it, and I think you see it, some of it, in the third movie, but we never get a backstory fleshed out more for Drax, other than the little bits and pieces. And this is one of them that we do, where you kind of sympathize with him more. He's more than just a comic relief there. So I give it to both of them for showing a little bit more of both of those characters.
I completely agree with you about Drax, but it did nothing for me for Ronan.
See, to me, that just reminds me of what we talked about in the very beginning of this, is that me, for the comic book person, it did satisfy me, but again, it's not translating to someone who's not a comic book person.
I will give you this though, the idea of I don't even remember who you are, all that stuff. Yeah, that's pretty badass, I guess. If I had to pick some, I guess it really isn't that cool though. The fact that he could just, I don't know. I really feel so underwhelmed with him. Like, it's the voice in that lip and the stuff falling out, and he just pulls that lip out and just gives that kind of it's like, Jesus, dude, like what is happening here? Like you just, I don't know. Guys, I don't like this character. Like I just don't, I don't know this guy. I just don't know what is. I can't say I don't understand what he's trying to do, because that's very clear. But to me, it's so clear. It's almost like, and later you kind of just find him standing there at one point. Anyways, to me, it's like the guy is just. It's like, I don't understand.
I'm gonna give you that for him when it comes to Act 3.
It doesn't help him. It doesn't help at all. But
yeah. All right. So, what is your score for Act 2?
This is another 8 out of 10. It's just that Ronan, man. Every time he shows up, I'm like, can't we just be somebody else?
Well, now that you've explained that one part to me in the spot that didn't really work so much, I'll be a little more generous in this, and I will give it an 8 out of 10 too.
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool. See different perspectives, guys.
Yeah.
There's one cool line Ronan had. That's it. And you
I
pointed
don't
it
even
out.
remember your
Yep,
family.
that's it for me. I would have said none if it wasn't for, as you were saying, I'm like, yeah, that is kind of cool. So I budged a little.
Okay. All right, guys. We're going on to Act 3, the final act of the movie. I will read the little narrative here, and we'll get into our thoughts. Ronan betrays Thanos, taking the Power Stone for himself, and launches an assault on Xandar. The newly formed Guardians unite with the Nova Corps to defeat defend the planet. Defend the planet. In a climactic battle, Groot sacrifices himself to save the team, while Quill distracts Ronan with humor long enough for Rocket to destroy Ronan's hammer. The Guardians collectively harness the Power Stone's energy and defeat Ronan together. Quill learns his mysterious parentage may explain why he survived touching the stone. The team is pardoned and officially becomes the Guardians of the Galaxy. So, you notice that Ronan gave him their name?
I do.
They'll always be indebted to Ronan.
Yeah, no.
Did the ending land for you?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it did. It did very much.
Yeah.
It was very well earned. Truthfully.
Yes. For the Guardians part, yes, it was. What would you say is your best moment in Act 3?
So, boy, there's a lot of good moments in Act 3. There's two, okay? One is watching Yondu be awesome with the arrow. That is such a good scene.
Yeah.
And it's funny and it's awesome. The other one is exactly what's happening right now. I love this barricade that the Nova Corps are able to do. I think it's pretty cool. I know it obviously doesn't hold up too much to this ship and what's going on, and you kind of feel bad for the Nova Corps because you realize, man, these guys, they're really not that hardcore. You know what I mean? Like this poor army, they need to up their scale.
I'm so
this should
happy you
teach
said
them.
that.
This should teach. But I don't take that as a fault of the movie though. I definitely, it doesn't lose points. It just shows that this is why they're so scared. Because they know that they can only do so much. But this net thing they have is pretty darn cool.
I agree.
And I like that guy, the one that didn't like, you guys are a bunch of assholes in the beginning. And then later on, he says, Peter, he tells them, Quill, prove it to me, But then here they are. He's like, as it's crushing the ship and he dies. It's like, yeah, you feel that because you're like, that dude died for, like, that guy's badass. Like, if we could give an award for the most badass character, he gets it. You know what I mean? I just like, because he just gave his life, in that net, the way they were set up. I just like that guy. Some might say that might be a punchable face. He's not a punchable face to me. I liked that guy, and in fact, he's like a reality show host now.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Really?
Yeah, it's the one about those people that hide the $1 billion, $1 million.
Oh, was that him?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay, yes.
What's that called again?
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
I should know. I watched the series.
Where they have like the rooms with like the stag and the
Yep.
Yeah, that's him.
That's no
Isn't that
way.
crazy? Yeah, it's cool, right?
That's a great show, guys. You should check that out on Netflix. It really is cool.
He's pretty much the same guy. Like this, like he's pretty much the same kind of guy. Yeah, that's him, which is kind of neat. But yeah, he does it's a great part for him, and so I like that. And the Yondu thing. Those are how about you?
Well, there's gosh, there are a lot of great moments in here.
So many.
And I had to write down only one, but really there is a few. All right, if I'm just gonna name a couple on the top of my head, yes, the Gandhi one is definitely the one that really stuck out to me the most. I remember watching that in the theaters and thinking, okay, now I like the guy. I didn't like him throughout the whole movie when I was watching the first time in theaters, and it was that scene that stuck with me after the movie.
Yeah.
And rewatching it, there's a reason. The scene is epic how he whistles and then it just goes through everything, and you're kind of going through the point of view too of the arrow as it's doing it. Yeah. And those monsters are really weird looking. They're crazy, but that whole thing is so cool how it's done, and even destroys a ship and everything. Like,
I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, it's uncanny that when we get deep into a scene, it always almost happens to be what's on the TV while we're talking.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
Right.
Like it's so that when we'll mention tons of scenes that we won't look over and see, but as soon as we start talking about one for longer than like we anticipate, we look over and it's actually on.
It's playing.
It's wild. Like but yeah, anyway, I also wanted to ask you, did you not like Yondu thinking that he wasn't a good character, or you just were like the character itself, you were like, oh, this guy sucks? Like how did you take that? Because I'm curious. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
Was it a bad character to you until now, or was it just the character himself you were talking?
He wasn't interesting to me.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, he became interesting. And then he redeemed that interestingness in the second movie when we get there.
See, I found him interesting from the start, but I understand where you're coming from.
I was almost... I don't know how to explain it. That is the best way for me to explain it. He just wasn't interesting for me in the beginning, but once you got to that part, I thought, okay, there's some gravity to this guy. He is one formidable, which before that, I just thought he wasn't that formidable. Because the whole time throughout the whole movie, he's just going to find Peter. That's all he's doing is going to find Peter. Where are you, Quill? Oh, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get it. Yeah. Yes, you want Peter. Good for you. It's only when you got to that parts where you're like, okay, he's a little more formidable than I anticipated with the whistle.
Yeah.
And
no, it's fair enough. I think you're making good points. I won't argue it.
Yeah.
But I just happen to I just like him, the actor. And,
the actor's great.
Yeah, and part of me was like, this guy's blue. He's kind of crazy. What's going on?
Perfectly well done and well cast for that. Yeah.
The arrow scene, though, you're right, is like, oh, this guy's cool. Yeah.
We're about to get to one of my other favorite scenes in a moment, but I'll touch upon one other one real quick that was already there. When they shot Nebula, I thought that was both hilarious and a great moment to be like, she's just talking about how much Gamora's a disappointment and all that stuff, and all of a sudden she gets blown up, and you're like, oh, about time, shut up.
Yeah.
I love Nebula, but in this first movie, you're like, yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
We get it. You're jealous, really. But anyways, yeah. And I do like, the only thing I like about the army is that net thing they make.
Yeah, it's real cool.
The wall that does that. That's so cool. Other than that, they were really useless.
They really were. I mean, they were shooting. They were doing their thing. But when the net thing happened, they were like, oh, cool. They got a nice little trick up their sleeve. And it worked for a while.
It worked for the moment.
Yeah.
Until Ronan decided to go more badass on it. And
there was one time he does something badass. Whatever.
Yeah. But
because 99% of the time in this whole segment, he's standing there staring at the wall. Like he's like, I can't read. Something's going on. I don't know what's happening with him, but he's fixing his lip.
When
not pouty enough.
When you're that powerful and good, you don't need to do much.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Anyways, this is another one of my favorite scenes. Is when Groot just demolishes a whole hallway full of guys.
You can hear their bones and stuff like squirting. Like it's like.
And it's when they're thrashing back and forth, up and down, it's something. Then when he turns around and he gives the biggest smile, like a happy puppy, that's like, I did something good. Like,
yeah.
It's like, oh,
it's like, was it good?
Like, you're so innocent. But
he's just like he is a pet.
Yeah. So that's a good scene.
That is funny.
Those are some of my favorite scenes, I would say, from the movie, from this act.
Look at him pout. Look at that. The big old poutiness scene. Okay, that's not even him doing that. That's the stone.
Yep.
It's his big old pout face holding that.
But he wields that stone really well, man.
Yeah, not as good as Thanos does. Thanos puts it in his hand and punches someone in the face with it.
Thanos is stronger.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I agree. But anyways, so yeah, what's your biggest issue now with Act 3?
Ronan. He's such an idiot. Like he's literally standing there, and then when he does show up, cool. The one thing he does that's real badass is he wouldn't be able to do if he didn't have it. And then later, when he's on the ground with them, at any point he could just smash the ground. Like he just makes these choices and things, and divulges into these things that makes me like, I just don't believe this guy. I don't believe him. I don't care about him. My favorite moment in this whole thing is him dying. Good. Be gone with you, sir. I don't need to see you again. Like, it's good you're gone. Like, like I said, if I knew more about that character before and I had a history with him, I bet you I'd probably be with you. And I still would feel underwhelmed with him, but I would feel better about him.
That's the one thing that the one disservice they did to him in the MCU is they didn't flush out a backstory.
There's nothing to Sammy. When I watch this, you watch this movie again sometime in the next week or so, just for the hell of it. And in your mind, erase that you know anything about him and just watch it from the perspective of not knowing nothing about him. And then add in the fact that his voice dulls you and that he has a big old lip hanging out. That's my own personal beef. But you learn nothing about. I mean, there's no. I just don't feel it, man. I don't feel it. He becomes to me just as dull as Malekith is at the end of Thor. Where I'm like, what is he? What's going on here? Like, why is he? The only difference is I understand what he's trying to do. With Malekith's thing was kind of like
convoluted. Yeah,
there's things going on but you know what I mean? Like that's the only difference is I don't get lost in this one. I just don't care. Like I don't know. Yeah, sorry. He hurts this movie for me immensely, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I will say that the only time I'm not much of a fan of Ronan is when he's just standing there. I get the effect they're trying to do. They're trying to show that specialized thing the Rocket made, that's supposed to just blow you into oblivion, doesn't work on him because he's wielding the Power Stone. So I get the point they're trying to come across, but I do agree with you. When he's just standing there, it's kind of awkward.
This whole time he's just been doing that. Like, there's no cutscenes to him like talking or planning or this. It's just he's just kind of like standing around waiting for them to land with his wars going on outside. Like, I don't know. I just feel like he'd be more. He could have had this place destroyed a long time ago if he just would have took the initiative to do it.
Yeah. Well, so I guess the only biggest issue I wrote down was and it really isn't a big issue because I think I actually agree with you that I think it's more to do with the story of why Xandar didn't want there to be conflict, why they had a peace treaty, why they didn't want Ronan to even get there and do what he's doing is because they just weren't that powerful of a nation.
Yeah, I think they were very aware of their weaknesses. Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're going to do diplomacy because we will not win a war. And yeah, I
mean, they're going to try. They didn't bitch out, but they definitely knew that it's to them it was like, oh no.
That's another thing I wish if this movie didn't do it, that's fine, but they never did it in the future too. And by the time you get to modern time MCU, Xandar no longer is a thing. I would have loved to learn why their planet is the way it is. What was the deal between them and the Kree? They had to do a peace treaty. Why did Ronan not like them so much that he wanted to destroy their whole civilization? Because it's not just to be a bully. There had to have been something that
should have been told in his movie of him being a villain. It's just he just hates them. Like,
yeah, and that's where when we get to the Captain Marvel movie, I'm gonna say, knowing what we know now, that was a missed opportunity that they could have done for him. If they didn't do it here, granted, I'll give you some of those points for that, but they obviously made it clear they want him to come back as Ronan, and they never followed through with it. And so that does a disservice to the character for all of his reputation from when you first meet him to wherever you're going to meet him again. So anyways.
Yep, I'm with you.
All right. So was the climax earned for you?
Yeah, yes. Ultimately it was.
Yeah.
Only though purely on the backs of the heroes and what's happening. And it's only because it's clear what the stakes are. If it got as convoluted as Thor: The Dark World did, then it would be very much like that, and I would not think it was as appealing. But because we just understood it was very simple what was happening, it felt earned to me.
Yeah.
And he obviously is powerful, obviously, so I think the way to take him out is with the stone. I get it. I think I agree with all that stuff. So.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I think the climax was earned for me. I enjoyed the surprise twist that he can actually hold the stone because
yeah.
they showed that early on that anyone who touches it, not only did that slave girl touch it, and Karina, I think her name was, and she you really got to see dramatically how it would kill you. But it even showed that in a little bit of their own little flashback of when others tried to wield it and they weren't even powerful enough to contain it. And to me, that is just one out of like 3 different spots in the movie that James Gunn was planting the seeds of what he wanted his sequel to be.
Yeah, and I will say, what's neat is like it's not that he could have held the stone for a long time. He was going to die from it, but it's just how long he was able to hold it, right? Because that's kind of what they said.
Yeah.
Like when they all joined forces to hold it, it kind of was enough for him not to die, but definitely for him to hold it as long as he did was definitely like, whoa, what's going on here? Yeah. I like that.
Because you do, in retrospect, you just like how when Hulk got the Infinity Stones and he had to hold it, it wasn't just you got him on, you just automatically did that. There's like an adjustment period almost.
Oh,
type
like a
thing where-
surge that goes
yes,
through
you had to hold it and then be able to then go through all that pain and all whatever you're going through in order to use the stone then. Thanos, it was just as easy as grab and go because
And he even had
he's always already super strong, but someone like Peter, that one doesn't even know what he is, but two, even what he is, it took him a minute for his body to start adjusting to it so he could just start doing what he was going to do.
Yeah, and I actually also think that there's like an undertone thing to this, as in like, I think the intent is also a thing with these stones, I think I could argue that it's never explained that way, but when you think about the people that are able to wield them, if it's not pure power that overdoes it, then it is intent as well. Like Star-Lord, obviously he's half celestial, so that's got a big part of it, right? But like when Iron Man does it, though, he's just a dude, but like that shows how hardcore of a dude he was, which to me was the best way to kill him. So, but we'll get.
We'll get.
But it's true though.
But
but it's like, if you're gonna kill him doing the most badass thing. You know what I mean? That he could probably do, right?
So out of 1 to 10, how would you score Act 3?
Act 3, I'm gonna give it a 7 because there's just too much Ronin in it.
Well, I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
So I'm actually shocked I went up a point on the other one, but I'm gonna stick to this one as an 8 because part of me thought, can I drop it down? But there really wasn't too much bad in it for me personally. In it,
I understand.
So 8. All right, post-credit scene, guys.
Oof.
What happens? There's 2 scenes, kinda.
Yeah.
One is a mid-credit scene, which actually is playing while the credits are still rolling. It's not like its own scene itself, but it's Baby Groot revealing to be alive and dancing in the flower pot while Drax the Destroyer sharpens his knife nearby. Groot freezes whenever Drax turns around.
Yeah.
And then the post-credit scene is at the Collector's Damage Museum. A powerful cosmic being, Cosmo the Space Dog, appears among the wreckage. Then Howard the Duck unexpectedly shows up, making a comedic cameo.
Yeah. What happened, man? Like, we got all these awesome post-credit scenes until now.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if it was because this is before the next Avengers movie, and they're just kind of like, well,
That's true.
let's just not tease much. And
I wonder.
I already know it's called Age of Ultron. You know what I mean? Like,
I wonder for 2 reasons too. One, you could say the Avengers thing that's coming up, and we don't want to tease the Ultron thing, although they easily could have. But I don't know how that would have translated into this movie specifically. But
yeah, I agree.
Regardless, I also think it's because they didn't know how successful this movie would be.
I think you hit it on the head.
I feel like Marvel was smart in calculating this out because had this movie been a failure, they already had Avengers locked and loaded and ready, and that would have driven everybody back up.
Yep, I agree.
It's almost like that when you're going to try something new, make sure you're buffering it among something that you know is a guarantee we're going to keep the machine going. Yeah.
Yeah, so why put a post-credit scene in something that what if nobody goes and watches this?
Yeah, why? Yeah, exactly. Why put a post-credit scene in this teasing the sequel? Which, like I said, James Gunn already has like 3 different times in here what he would do for a sequel.
For sure.
But even then, the post-credit scene defying that there is a sequel coming up, why do that when you don't know if that's actually going to happen?
Yeah.
And then you see how well it received, and they're like, oh my gosh, let's give them 2 sequels.
Yeah.
And they do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think your point is dead on. Yep.
Yeah, and I could also see adding niche characters like Howard the Duck. This would be the best movie to put him in.
Yeah, if you're gonna do a throwaway thing,
yeah,
go for
exactly.
it. Seth Green voiced him, by the way.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, and then the Baby Groot thing. Part of me thinks that they could have gotten away with not doing it, but like we said in the history of this movie, this was a merchandising machine right there.
Oh my God.
Baby Groot at the very end, that's what everyone was left with when they're walking out of the theaters is Baby Groot. There you go. You now create a whole new character like Stitch was type thing. Like he's going to be on everything.
And he was.
And oh my gosh, he was. They did his own
quite a while.
They did his own little Disney Plus series, Baby Groot.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, why'd they do that? Anyways,
for the kids.
Yeah, and to be honest,
I completely I'm like, that's the kind of crap you should put on there.
I was gonna say that.
That's what that should be for.
It should have been Baby Groot scenes.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna harp on it like, oh, it's so bad, but like that is what Disney Plus should have been designed for Marvel.
Yep. We don't need to see it.
No.
If your kids like Baby Groot, here's 5 episodes or whatever the hell they did of Baby Groot, right? I don't think it was that long.
It reminds me of like the Pixar shorts because they were that short.
Yeah,
be like, that would have been cute.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Perfect.
So, how would you grade the post-credit scenes?
I'm gonna give them a 2 because to be frank with you, they're not even that funny.
Yeah.
So they're dismissive. So I'm just gonna give. They're cool, but in the overall look of it, 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it the same thing to be honest, because that is true. They're really scenes that were unnecessary and they're not inconsequential to anything. They're not what I the funniness there wasn't funny in them.
No.
Other than like maybe he's stopping when Drax is looking, but even then it's not.
That's not that funny though.
No. Yeah, so I agree with you too.
Just cute seeing them is all.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Deep dives, guys. We're getting into the cast performances. So, what is your best performance?
I see yours. Dear Lord. So I'm going to give the best performance to this. Was almost a breakout one, like the most surprising, but it's not. I'm going to give it to Chris Pratt for this. I think that he, as an actor, proved to the world that I could take my humor and bring it in to something like the Marvel Universe, changed his body immensely to be part of this role because he was kind of a chubby fella. And also the dramatic and emotional stuff beats in this movie are mostly from him, really. The ones that we connect with the most. And I couldn't believe how good he was. And in fact, that made me, because of this movie and his performance in it, made me be like, okay, when he does something, I'm going to pay attention. And to be frank with you, I know Hollywood doesn't like him right now because of his politics and stuff, and religious views and all that. But I don't care, y'all. He's good at what he does. He's a great actor. In fact, when I do a Dark Dimension of the Tomorrow War, you're all going to find out that I think that's a fantastic, amazing sci-fi movie.
That's one of my favorite
people sleep on. I watched that movie and I couldn't believe how good that movie was.
Right?
It's a love letter to every horror sci-fi movie made in the last 50 years. And I could tell you right now, if you and I watch that movie together right now, each act of that movie, I could list. They got that from this movie. They got that from this movie. They got that from this movie. They got that. They got Predator in there. They got all sorts of stuff going on in that movie. When they're coming up over the walls of those things, it's just like Starship Troopers. Like that director said, I love these sci-fi creature feature movies. I'm gonna make one for us.
It was
and
good.
They made one for them. It's phenomenal.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, and he's amazing in it. And so you guys can all say what you want about Chris. I think he's great. I can't wait to see him in this more. I can't wait to see what he does next. I wish he'd get away from Mario because I want to see him I have yet to see the new one he did called Mercy. I want to watch that. That looks really good. I'm sure everyone's going to be, it's crappy. You know what? Whatever. Don't like him or not. Like, there's tons of actors that I wouldn't want to sit and have breakfast with. I wouldn't like them personally, but they're still phenomenal actors. I wouldn't take that away.
Now, he is one I would love to meet personally.
Yeah, I would love to meet and have a conversation with him. You know, that, and he married into one of the coolest families, Arnold Schwarzenegger guy. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. This guy gets to hang out with Arnold Schwarzenegger all the time.
As his dad-in-law.
Sorry, y'all. You can all say what you want about Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's one of my heroes. And I'm just like, man, you lucky. Yeah, as his father-in-law. Yeah. You imagine Schwarzenegger as your father-in-law. I bet it's cooler than you think.
Yeah.
He's way cooler than you think, though. Yeah. He's just sitting there petting ponies in his house, smoking cigars. Like, you're not having a hard time. Arnold's a pretty chill guy, y'all. Like, he comes off tough, and he's tough, but like, he's a very lovable, loves people, nice gentleman kind of guy, and I think Chris fits in with that. And he had a kid with Anna Faris. Sorry, we're going on about Chris. I like you, Chris. I love you. If you can't tell, come do our podcast. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, you
just might. But no, I gotta give it to him. I think he's the best performer. I think he carried this movie, and he was the heart of this movie. And if he failed, the movie failed. But because he didn't, I think it really set it apart for me.
Yeah, yes, I agree. I think he deserves to get the flowers of this movie for his performance. The stuff, I completely forgot the stuff he had to go through to get there. And he had been rejected by Marvel so many times in trying to be Captain America. He tried to be everybody at one point. And
he'd be an interesting Captain America, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, but he tried for that. I think he said he tried for Thor. He tried for all these different people. And he said that he didn't want to do the audition for this because he knew he'd be let down. And James Gunn didn't even want to hire him because he just saw him as that chubby guy for Parks and Rec. And then it was thanks to the casting agent. She said, you really need to give this guy a try. He's been trying for a long time, and I think he would work great for your film. And I'm glad that casting agent, who's still there, by the way, so good job.
Yeah, he proved it too. He went in and he did not let that person down. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I was going to put him as my most surprising performance because I only knew him from Park and Rec. And then I saw his performance in here. I'm like, okay, this guy's got depth. He's got stuff that's more than just a funny guy. But I agree. Over Lee Pace, I will give it to Chris Pratt.
Thank God, guys, we won one battle.
Although Lee Pace is a close second for me.
I don't think Lee Pace is a bad actor.
No, he's not bad, but
I just think he's bad in this part. Someone should have told him maybe less lip. Maybe less lip. Kind of put like a curve to your voice to give it a little bit of something, you know.
Oh, when we meet Lee Pace at a Comic-Con, I'll
tell him. I'm like, hey, sir, you should have went a little more like Bane voice from the Dark Knight Rises and just tuck the lip in, bro. Like, what was going on? You're pouting all the time. Like,
all right. But yeah, I'm just going to echo everything that you said for Chris. Perfect for best performance. Most surprising performance I will put for myself is I liked Dave Bautista as Drax, and then I liked Karen Gillan as Nebula. I knew of Karen Gillan before this, but I only knew her from one TV show that canceled after one season, and she played a funny girl. So I wasn't she literally transformed herself.
Oh, for
Just like
sure.
similar to Chris, I wouldn't say exactly like him. He physically transformed himself, but she like shaved her head
Yeah, she
and
went
did
all out
things.
for this role.
She was like, I'm gonna be playing the daughter of, and her thick Irish accent, how she can hide that so well. Like you watch her in interviews and you're like, oh my gosh, she doesn't say Thanos, she says Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, holy smokes, you're really good. You're
she's
really
good.
Yeah, so I do have to give her props for being able to go all out, to go throughout all that stuff to put on, because you share the same thing with Rebecca Romaine, girl, being able to slap all this blue on and all this extra stuff just to play the part, and you do it really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Dave Bautista, he was surprising for me because I never knew of him before, but know that he came from wrestling. I mean, I feel like it's kind of a character trope. Most wrestlers become actors eventually, but also not everyone is meant to be an actor. So to see him do something like this and show, okay, you do have acting chops, that's pretty cool. So I thought that was and it also was surprising for me too that I didn't go in there if I looked at the character poster and expect I'm gonna like this guy. I would have thought I would like the raccoon more or even Gamora more, but I actually like Drax more. So, yeah. Surprising performance for you.
So surprising performance. This was tough because like everyone was a standout, right? What I will say about Nebula is it's not till the second one when I really fall for her character.
Yeah.
Not that I had a problem with her in this, and in fact I think it's great, and it is kind of wow, that's crazy,
good
cool.
intro for her.
Right, but that second movie though, she really shines. There's better moments for her.
There's more depth.
Yeah, and I am gonna have to give it. I wanted as an honorable mention. I think Bradley Cooper does a great job as Rocket's voice.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell it's Bradley Cooper, but yet still different. Unlike you can't tell Vin Diesel is Groot, you can actually tell Rocket is a guy that you recognize. But it's still hidden enough where it could be somebody else. But once you say, oh, that's Bradley Cooper, and you listen, you're like, oh, yeah, duh, that is Bradley Cooper, and it's great. But if you tell me that Groot is Vin Diesel, I'd be like, I don't hear it. You know what I mean? Like, it's to me, like we've said before, no offense, Vin, but, well, I don't care. What we've said before is he could be anybody. It could have been a computer voice, and it would have worked just fine. But my most surprising performance to me definitely is Drax Bautista.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I'm going to say about it, too, because when he was cast as this, that was part of that, this is a weird team. I don't know if I'm going to like this, what they're doing anyways. And then I was like, oh, and they just hired a wrestler to be a big guy. Like, like, don't get me wrong, guys. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is a decent actor that does fun action movies. John Cena is a decent actor, a little better actor than The Rock, that looks good doing action as well. And honestly, until we got Pacemaker, saving hearts one beat at a time. Oh boy, Peacemaker. Once we got Peacemaker. Once we got Peacemaker, he definitely shown that he's got some range, and I give him a lot of credit. And recently, Dwayne Johnson did great in a wrestling movie that he recently did. For some reason I can't think of the name of it because I'm still laughing about Pacemaker.
I would have liked that movie better.
Yeah, hilarious.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Pacemaker.
Oh my gosh. Whew. So anyways, the point I'm getting to is Batista surprised me because not only is he funny, but I think he's probably the better actor out of the wrestlers that's come out of wrestling into acting, especially now, because he's done this movie and then he's done a lot after, and he's shown up in some stuff where I was like, Knock at the Cabin is another one, which will be on a Dark Dimension someday. And he's phenomenal in it. I think he's great in the Netflix movie there, Glass Onion. Oh, he's fantastic. So he's a better actor, I think, than the other wrestlers. But when I saw him, he just lit the screen up in this. Like, he ate this role. Like, it was just like, I know what you need. And he just went for it. And my gosh, it just works, man. I love Batista in this. It really, like, I'm very much surprised that's why it's the surprising performance.
Mm-hmm.
Pacemaker.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. All right. Weakest performance, if any, for you.
I'm going to let you guess. I'm going to give you a one guess.
I'm
On a limb.
It's gotta be Gamora. No, just kidding.
Ha!
Ronan for you.
Yeah. Sorry.
For me,
lip.
For me, it's Gamora.
Oh, get out of here. Go away. Sir. Sir. Even after we get through, I got you. All right.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. All right. Casting wins for me, Lee Pace. No, just kidding.
Of course it is.
I'm gonna say everyone for me.
Mr. Lip face himself.
Everyone for me was a casting win. Honestly.
Yeah, I think the one that sticks out to me though is by the end, Yondu having Michael Rooker is genius, and especially in a retrospective, like as we go on forward.
Yeah,
brilliant.
He's one definitely in the next movie. I'm gonna give some flowers to when we get there.
Yeah, but he definitely
so good.
Yeah, he may have stumbled a little bit in this, like kind of getting used to him. But by the end, you're like, oh, this great part for him. He's that rugged, weird. He's all for it. So I'm gonna, if I had to pick one to be specific, that'd be the one.
Yeah. All right. Any missed opportunities or wasted potential for the
one
story?
Really big one. A lipless villain would have been nice. No, I mean,
for your sake, I will say that yes, Ronan should have been more
fleshed out.
I wanted to say fleshed out, but I wanted to say it in a nicer way.
No,
he should have been more understood for your general audience.
I just didn't.
I feel like if you took a survey, the comic lovers will love Ronan. The casual MCU people or casual comic lovers or casual moviegoers will find the same faults that you found.
Yeah.
That like the formula is there, it's just not explained.
Yeah, it's like I think that the lesson out of it, I would say, arguably maybe they figured out, maybe not figured out because of this specific, because I don't think there was a lot of backlash about Ronan, to be honest with you.
No, I
know there was some, but I do know there wasn't a lot though.
I remember there was a lot more high praise at the time.
Right,
but
me
that was
too.
because people like me were like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, you did it.
Then
really
the
well.
movie was a surprising hit as well.
Yeah,
in general, like, it's hard to not like this movie, guys. Even
to be
with
honest,
him,
for how much you don't like him, he never became that downer for the movie.
Well, he did a bit for me in a critical eye that we're doing for this podcast. But you're right. He didn't ruin this movie, though.
Yeah, no, at least not enough for him to say it wasn't this, like that.
Right.
That you could maybe, if you wanted to argue that the 7% that of the audience score that didn't like him was the reason why they got 93%, but the movie still got 93%. It's not.
Agreed.
It's not like the Mandarin twist where you really had a divide amongst the fandom.
That's right.
Like it, not like it, or Malekith that everyone said was undercooked. So I see where you get the similarities of him with Malekith, and that you would even put Malekith a little bit above him, but it wasn't as bad as what was perceived from the other ones. Enough word that would have gone.
Yeah, I agree.
Lower.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, the rest of this movie works so well that it's almost like, well, I can forgive the villain in this one.
Yeah.
When Malekith was kind of I can't forgive.
Yeah.
Same with when you look at like there's other projects, but that one's in particular. Yeah. Iron Man 3 is another one where it's almost like, ugh.
Yeah.
It really, really dampers it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
All right. So direction.
Yeah, this is great. What a great choice to hire this guy. I mean, and then to keep him and keep going. Like I said, James Gunn's great at being emotional, taking the weirdness and amping it up to 11, but yet having those emotional stakes be there for real. And the action scenes, this is the kind of action, guys, I like. Not a lot of shaky cam. You get to see what's going on. This, if Winter Soldier had a little bit more of this kind of standard or this kind of still action moments where it's very clear what you're seeing, then Winter Soldier would have been almost a 10.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that this is a great choice in a director. There was a great choice for a vision of this. Cinematography and visuals off the charts, really good for this type of
Yep.
thing. Action quality was very good, to be honest. CGI quality was good when they used it.
I think the CGI might be the best yet
Mm.
in the MCU. This movie needed to have the best CGI.
Yeah, well,
it's
you're
so
going into
outworld.
space. Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
think it's
I'll
the
give
best
that.
yet.
I'll give that to them.
Groot looks great.
Mhm.
And Rocket looks great. There's
Yeah.
some other moments where you can be like, there's a lot of CGI there. But when you get some close-ups of Rocket and stuff,
Like
that's
they really are fine
really
tuning
good.
that.
Yeah.
And that's true because Groot and Rocket they're the only characters that were very 100% CGI.
So they had to look
Yes.
as real as
Yep.
possible.
Even when they were struggling with making Thanos the right shade or to trim him up or do what they were going to do with him, polish him up is what we said earlier. They nailed it for Rocket and Groot.
Yeah.
So
Thanos probably looked the worst if I had to pick in this.
yeah.
And it still wasn't terrible.
No, but
But it was definitely like, ooh.
it was good that they decided to cater to that a little more later
Yeah.
and be like, let's gonna
Yeah,
fix
dim
that
down
for the
that
movie.
real
Yeah.
bright purple. Let's make it a little more pink purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad they changed a few things later.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Hot take for you.
You know, I don't really have one. I struggled. I want to always try to have one. This time I don't. I really am dying on the hill. I wish we could just go back and have a better villain. And you know what? And I'm not even going to say a different villain. I wish we went back and he was pushed to be more creative about how to be this guy. And we were more informed about who this guy is and why he's coming from where he is. That's my feeling, but it's not a hot take. So I'm going to sustain this time when it comes down to hot takes because I don't really have a good one. I don't know if I'd do anything different in this movie other than tweak the villain better.
Yeah. So my initial hot take wasn't really much of a hot take. I should put it more into my final review of the movie type thing, my final one-liner. And then I thought of another hot take, but I'm like, it didn't make too much sense when I wrote it down, but I get what I was trying to say. So I amended it while we're going through this retrospective, and I am going to use it. I'm just going to add 2 more words to it. This film's greatest strength is the story that the mixtape creates.
Mm.
And I think that would really echo through me. Not only, I will be honest. In my retrospective reviews of this movie, like watching it, I must have watched it like 3 or 4 times. It wasn't as eloquently put to me as the way you did it throughout this whole review. And I think that that's why I had to add in a couple words there to make sure that it was conveyed properly, because now I will watch this movie now with a more favorable view than I had before, knowing how you've put it.
Oh, about the music with his mom and all that.
About the music with his mom
Yeah.
and the story being told behind it. Because it is very more meta, more deep than you would initially think of. And I think that anyone who might not have had that same viewpoint, I hope you're listening and watching this, guys. Because if you know someone who doesn't think about this movie the same way, just have them watch this segment on YouTube or listen to this audio and go to where Ike explains that. Because if it enlightened you the way it enlightened me, I think that is something that needs to be echoed all over, is how this mixtape really sewed in the character story for Peter through his mom's
Yeah, because it's more than just
taste.
cool music at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a deeper, we take it at the superficial facial value that, Marvel's now getting into some popular 80s tunes type thing. Cool. But no, there's a lot more to it than just selecting random pop songs. Like
Yeah.
there was a story being told within those songs of painting the picture of who his mother is that he is now aspiring himself to be more like.
Mhm.
And I think and she's still teaching him through the music that she picked for him.
Yeah, and
That's
that carries
very
through.
well.
That carries through into the second one, like when Ego's
Mhm.
explaining to him
Oh,
why that
yes.
one song is important.
Yes.
Because it's important to her, because that was his story,
When
you
yeah.
know? And it's like, and that's why it hits Peter so hard, because it's like,
Mhm.
and then my mom is teaching me who she is and who I should be through what
Mhm.
she thinks I should listen to and what she would listen to. So
Yep.
when you hear the words of these songs and what they're saying, no wonder he's the way he is and who he is. And,
When I watch Guardians 2, I'm gonna have a different perspective of that
because
now.
of that, yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm happy
yeah,
for that because I
yeah.
need to hear these different perspectives too and then see it, and now I can see it through those eyes too and be like, "Wow, how deep is number 2? If I didn't even get number 1, I better pay more attention to number 2 of getting that storyline
See,
through."
and thank James Gunn for that feeling, though, too, because he
Mhm.
does that in everything he does. The only movie he didn't do this in was Superman. And that's some of why I didn't like Superman, because I'm like, oh, where's that little extra spice you do? Because even the Suicide Squad, I can sit and tell you the underlying things of what's going on. It's a little more obvious in that movie, but like there's certain characters with certain things that it's more emotional and more, there's jokes, but it's not a joke when you really look and see what's happening, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's what this music thing is too. There is a meta layer to everything he does, except Superman. And I think if you were doing one in Superman, it was almost either too on the nose
Mhm.
or it wasn't on the nose enough because it went over my head. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear
I'm
you.
glad that helped you, because
Mhm.
it really made a difference to me when I was watching this.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it did, and that's very insightful of you to be able to pick up those things, so it's really cool. It really shows that you have something there that you know how to see the translation of these movies, which is
no,
really cool, but that's a unique gift to have. There's not everyone your casual moviegoers will have that.
no, but you're also talking. So I've watched thousands of movies. So, but not, not. I don't want to toot a horn or nothing, but yeah, I pay attention to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so critical though about Ronin, because like you don't need to do a lot to get you there.
Mhm,
And I just felt like they just assumed this character was going to be
mhm,
fine. And ultimately, he kind of was. But someone as critical as me, though, is kind of like, yeah,
mhm.
yeah. Like,
Yeah,
that, and there is a personal character choices I think they could have made different. But
yeah.
you can't really argue that stuff. You know what I mean?
Alright, some quick fire questions, answer fast, don't overthink. What's your best scene of the movie?
Best scene in the movie. Let me see. What did I write down?
That was hard for me really to write.
I love the scene when they are all together and they're arguing about what plan they're going to tell Yondu. And that's when they all stand up, and Rock is like, now we're all standing up. We're all saying we look stupid. I mean, it's funny, but that whole scene though is literally like an 8-minute banter scene of them just arguing, and you realize these guys are nuts. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just they'll just waste this screen time to let this be this, and so we see who they are. That's a lot of character development. I love every minute of it. I enjoy that. I think that's a great
Yeah.
There's a lot of other good scenes, but that to me, when I was watching the movie, I realized this scene has been going on for a while, and I could watch this for like another half hour
That's
of
good.
them just arguing with each other. It's like just like in Ultron when we get there, I could watch an hour of them just sitting drinking at the couch
Yeah.
talking.
That was good.
You know what I mean? Like it's so yeah.
That's so good. Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna just echo that same thing. That's a great scene. It's a great character development scene for them. And then it's still at the end of the day, it's kind of like a family that they choose to be with each other still because they're still like, well, we're still in this together, even though
Yeah.
we don't agree with each other. We're still in this together. I love that.
Yep.
So yeah. All right, least best scene of the movie.
It's that like I explained earlier, when he kills that henchman and Thanos is up there and he's all like blah 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 blah, and then Nebula is like, hey, if you blah blah blah, then blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, you know what? This whole villain group getting together, it just was so like meh, meh, meh. Yeah, you see? I just didn't like it. I just was like, it's so dumb. It's just waiting for them. Like, you see, is what we're gonna do. Yeah, you see. Like, okay.
If he had that voice, it probably
I would have liked the movie better. Yeah, he would if he had that voice and he tucked that lip in. If he just would turn up, you see. I'm like, you know what? It'd have been so bold. I'd have went with it. It's better than the I'm gonna kill you, Thanos. Yeah, I'm Ronan the Accuser. That's all we got. Just dripping out of him. Like, come on, bro, swallow. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, least, I wrote down for the least best scene that whole thing of Star-Lord saving Gamora, but that was before we got into our in-depth review on it, so I have to take that back. Least best scene for me. Let's see. I can't really think of one too much on top of my head. I can't say that's my least best scene. Yeah, I'm gonna skip that one because I can't think of one. I know there is one. We've talked about different scenes already, but and I can't give you any points for the Ronin thing, so I can't. I'm just gonna pass.
I got you. Yeah.
All right. Best villain moment. Okay.
Let me say mine real quick.
Yes, you say
when he dies. That's sorry, guys, but I was for a moment there. I was like, you know what? I'll give it that I like the line of him saying, "I don't remember you or your family," whatever. I guess technically, but the fact that I still don't like that he's even there doing what he's doing at that moment. Yeah, guys. When he finally meets his judgment, I'm like, thank God. Get rid of this guy. Goodbye. See you later. We don't need no more of this. Bye. That's how I felt. And so, sorry.
I'm going to read to you exactly what I wrote down then.
Oh, boy.
Best villain moment. There's a lot. From killing Thanos' henchman to beating Drax, I'd have to say when he decided to take the Power Stone for himself was pretty epic. Also, his first kill in the beginning was really scary and it set the tone. I'll stick to this. Okay.
Moving on. Yeah. Oh, jeez. You've heard how I feel about every single one of those already.
Yeah, that's exactly. So I had to read it word for word. Okay. Most punchable face for you.
So I'm not going to give him the benefit of getting the most punchable face. Because, first of all, he does die epically, and I'm glad he dies, and I don't want him to have that. But I am going to give it to that first buyer that Peter Quill goes to.
Oh, yeah, right.
That guy, what an ass. Like, the way he acted with him, just all snobby and stuff. He's like, don't you get out of here. It's like, dude, you can at least talk to him about it for a second. Yeah. But I don't know. It just, that guy, there's not a lot of punchable faces in this one. But I think he kind of deserves it.
Yeah. The other one that I put down, I do agree with you for the original buyer of the orb, but also the guy that took the mixtape, the Walkman, and then he's playing it, and I'm like, he has these bugged eyes. I'm like, I just want to punch him back into your face. Like, give him back his Walkman.
It's a great choice. Yeah,
like it's
the eyes more than it's the Walkman.
Yeah, it's the eyes. They're bugged out there. They're like goldfish. They're like, and he's like, what you did is pretty good. And you're like, it's not your music to enjoy. It's the music of his people, not yours.
Yeah, I think you got the better out of the two.
So
that one.
I'm
It's
like,
a good one.
punch him.
Just give that guy a slam.
Thank God he does.
Yeah,
So,
hard too.
Yeah, he deserved it.
Yeah.
Anyways, one prop you take home.
One prop I would take home. You know what? This was tough for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I picked one that was pretty obvious, but I think it would be really cute and cool. I would like to get the toy flower pot of Groot, the baby Groot.
Yeah.
He'd look cool on a shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not really a prop, but it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. More of a toy prop thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah. I will say this is probably the ugliest prop I'll ever pick of the Marvel movie because I really don't like these things, but it will remind me of the movie. And that's that fuzzy-headed thing that I know there's an actual name for them because they are actual toys that he gave Yondu in replace of the Space Stone.
Oh, yeah, those little elf things? Or
it had the crazy hair, colored pink hair or something like that, or green.
Yeah.
I think it was pink. Anyways, like that would have reminded me of that.
So that's a good prop.
Yeah. I almost wanted to say the orb itself, but The orb wouldn't be bad. It's just a big ball canister thing, but
his tape player come to mind. The tape itself come to mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, little stuff like that. But
yeah. All right. So, most underrated moment for you.
I agree with you on this one. So why don't you take it?
All right. So even though I said that Yondu, I wasn't interested in him in the beginning until that third act when he did his thing. For the retrospective review, when Yondu is fighting the Ravengers on Morag about keeping Peter and going to get him or not, he makes this thinly veiled threat. I want him back, so I'm gonna kill him myself. But this is a retrospective review, guys, so you know he's not gonna do that. It's because he has a soft spot for him. He thinks of him as his own son type thing. But it I like how he challenges the other Ravengers that are trying to say, they're like, we'll kill him right now type thing. We'll go do it and all that. He's still showing that he is the boss, and it will echo into what we see of him in the future. So
it's funny because they kind of talk about that a little bit in this too at the end.
Yeah.
When he says to the one guy, he goes, I'm glad we didn't take him to his dad. He goes, yeah, that guy was kind of a jerk.
Yeah, that's just another one of like the 3 lines of the whole movie that James Gunn purposely, I think, put in to say, this is what I want to do in the sequel.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm glad there was a good payoff for it. Anyways, yours was the same one you said?
Same one, yep.
How about most overrated moment?
Anything the bad guy was doing. Any moment Ronan was on. Honestly, the most overrated moments to me were the times of the interactions between him and Thanos. I was very underwhelmed. Yeah.
I couldn't think of an overrated moment to write on here. So
that's fine.
That's good for a movie, to be honest. Funniest moment.
Okay, mine's a weird one.
Okay.
But there's a scene when Drax comes in, like after they got Gamora cornered in the prison, and then Drax comes in, and they're like, oh, he's Drax the Destroyer. And they're doing their fight, their little thing, and Gamora convinces him to let her down and all that, and Peter comes in and talks him out of it. This when Peter's doing this sign of kill, and Drax is like, what is that? You know what I mean? And then the guy behind is like, yeah. And it's just like how the guy behind Peter like agrees until he looks at him. He goes, yeah, no, I don't know. He changes his mind quick. But then I laughed out loud when he goes, I like this knife, I'm keeping it. And he just walks away.
Yeah.
Like, yes. Like that's when I realized that's how he's playing this guy. Love it. And then after that, he made me laugh a lot. Because of that, because I'm expecting the weirdness out of him, and it came. So that to me, I laughed very hard at that moment.
Yeah,
just because I like in some of these movies, in all these movies, they have background characters that interact with these jokes like that, and man, they're funny when they do.
Yeah,
and I think that really comes off. The other time I laughed out loud. Also, I might give it to this is when Yondu was giving a speech on a ship when he had Peter like all against the wall there. And as he's giving the speech, the James Gunn's brother that plays
Sean Gunn,
he's like repeating things behind him, like he's like the pump up guy of the crowd. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I laugh at that too. And he gets funny moments in the next one too.
Yeah. I agree. There's 2 funny moments for me as well. So I love it when Star-Lord says, if I had a black light, this place would look like a Jackson Pollock painting. It's one of those where, unless you're an adult, you're not going to get it. So it flies over the kids' heads when they're watching it. But if you're an adult and you know what Jackson Pollock painting is like, you're like, oh my gosh, this is the dirtiest joke Marvel ever
that's
said.
awful.
Yeah. And then the second one is Gamora, when they land the ship inside Ronan's ship, she looks like a happy child, almost like I'm relating to you right now. Like she's putting on this face to make sure that's conveyed to him, and she says, "We're just like Kevin Bacon." And I'm like, Gamora, that's the one thing I'm gonna give you this whole movie. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, good job. Yeah. All right. Most emotional moment for you.
So for me, it's in the end when when he's holding the stone and he looks over and sees his mom.
Yeah.
She puts her hand out, and it's like, because of how I've pictured this journey of him and dealing with her, and now that you realizing that the music is her story to him, and it being Gamora, they could have easily done that in a scene of like he's taking Gamora's hand, like she's this connection to him that he's fallen in love with. But he took it, though, in a moment of losing his life slowly and holding on to this thing in this real crazy moment of almost having, and you see that tear come down his face, and he just reaches out, like, it's like, oh, it's something he wished he'd have done before. And
Yeah.
like, that to me it just speaks volumes of, once again, why I think he carries this movie, character and acting wise. So
Yeah, I completely agree with you for that. I really do. That is the moment, the emotional
I mean,
moment.
it's a quick one, but boy, is it effective.
All right.
You know,
Final scores. Let's see. So out of 2, the story for you.
I think it's a 2 out of 2. Very clear. I have no problem with what they're trying to tell us in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. I'm gonna give it the same thing. In our review. Yeah. Characters.
I'm gonna give it a 1.5 because I really am disappointed in the villain.
Mm.
And I know we smirk about it every time, but I am truly. It's not. I'm not saying it to joke either.
Yeah.
I mean, we can have fun with it, but I do have problems with him.
Yeah.
Big time.
I'll agree with 1.5 as well. Yeah. Action and visuals.
Yeah, this is another 2 out of 2. The action in this is superb. I love the fight scenes. From the beginning when he's in the ship while it's falling and he's trying to get control of it again, right then and there, you're like, oh man, this movie's gonna be wild.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I love it. I love it how clear the scenes are, not very shaky. Yeah, it's good.
All right. Yep. I agree. I agree on that. Emotion and stakes.
I'm gonna give this a 1 because once again, the villain falls flat, so I could care less about that part of it. But they do very well at making us care about the rest, so I'm just gonna give it the split the difference.
I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 2.
Okay.
All right. Rewatchability and MCU impact.
1.5.
Mm.
I do want to fast forward through a couple moments.
I agree.
That's about it.
I agree. I gave it 1 out of 2 for that because, one of the cool things about doing our retrospective reviews is that when we are kind of making ourselves, and I don't mean it in a bad way saying that, but we're making ourselves watch this movie maybe 2 to 3 times at least within 1 week. And that's how you know if a movie is that. It's one thing, it's rewatchable. Everything is rewatchable like once a year. But you can't judge it by that.
Mhm.
Captain America, I was able to watch it 4 or 5 times and I never got bored. And
Yeah.
Winter Soldier. But this one, once I got through my second watch and I put it on for the third time to see if I could help myself finish my review form, I had to power through it.
Mm,
And that's how I knew, okay, this is a good movie, but the rewatchability factor is not at the level some of these other movies could be. So that's why
gotcha.
it is good MCU impact. Yes, I gave it its flowers there, but out of 2, I have to give it a 1
Yeah.
for that. All right, what is your final score?
My final score is a 7.
Mine's a 7 too.
Look at that. How do we end up in the same spot?
So
Yeah.
I
I mean, I
yeah.
can't, as much as I want to go lower because of the villain, why I can't go too much lower is because at least the story made sense. At least I understood what the villain was trying to do. I just think the villain was underwhelming, but that's really, truthfully, guys, my only major issue with the movie. Other than that, I think it's dead nuts on as what a great entrance into the cosmics of what the MCU is. If this villain would have been better, this movie could have easily been a 9. That's how bad for me he was. When you see my retro on Guardians of Volume 2, you'll understand why I feel the way I do about this one. So,
Oh, that'll be fun to look forward to, guys. So definitely tell people so we could boost our numbers up to get
Yeah.
to volume 2. I tell you, I love that we had the same score. So our official Goodell Multiverse score is 7 out of 10 for this movie.
Makes sense. I
that's
can
fair.
see it right on the poster.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. I think that's fair. And the only parts that I would say that really was underwhelming for me was the Gamora parts.
Which is wild that we're opposite.
Yeah.
Like, to me,
See, for
I'm
me,
fine. Wow, she's great.
Viewing the comic book version of Ronin, he hit it for me. But that's because I knew the comic book version. And all I ask as a comic book lover is to translate that version into a movie. Now, I agree they could have fleshed him out a little bit more, and maybe they had future plans. I think at one point it sounded like they did, but obviously they've never come to fruition now, and I don't expect them to do that now. So there's a waste of potential right there, you can say, on a character if you had to, but I didn't mind him. So, I never watched his scenes. Even in my 3rd watch through, I was forcing myself to watch through, I never fast forwarded his scenes because I liked him that much. So, I don't think he's the greatest villain Marvel's ever done, but he definitely is within my top 10.
He's in my bottom 10.
Mm,
Isn't that wild?
yeah, yeah.
That's wild. It's or maybe not bottom 10. I know we did a thing recently where we talked together about
Yeah.
our list before, which is what actually made us do this.
Yeah,
Because, like, you know what? The only way to make this list fair is to really go through them, right?
yeah.
And that's what we're doing. So we're refining a list that we've made already, guys. I don't think he made my bottom 10 then, but as of right now, until we move forward,
He does.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's bottom because it's like I said, I just wish there was more. And we're gonna get to the whole what would you do different?
Mhm.
Uh, I I'm not gonna I could just repeat it all night, but you just needed, truthfully, if he had made some different character choices, and I would have personally liked him more. But if at the very least, if they come at him with the understanding that I've never met this guy before, I could have enjoyed this character a lot more, this villain. But
Mhm.
that's my only. Other than that, I wouldn't change this movie.
Yeah. I could see adding to Ronan's character would have made it a little bit more, appealing.
Yeah.
Um, for me, the only thing I would have really done differently is I kinda wish that part of how do I say this properly? I can't say that because it was so unique to that movie, I shouldn't do that. But I wish they would have done something, maybe an extra scene of Gamora or something that would have shown a little, maybe even redo 1 or 2 of the scenes to make her a little more I don't know. It's there's something about it and how it was done for Gamora's as a character that made me think that how there should have been something in it where she would have had to explain why she hadn't been able to run away when she wanted to. Like, she's recognized as a bad guy for a longest time type thing, and now she's assigned to run away. And I get now why she's assigned to run away. She found this group that's gonna help her get that done. She's going after the stone, all that stuff. But something to explain a little bit more of the stuff that she has done that would have given her title a little more of gravity to it. And that why she doesn't
Hmm.
think she's deserving of a second chance, but she wants to die alone type thing. Something that would have made me relate to the character a little bit more.
That's interesting because all those things you say, I feel like are obvious. You know, it's like I think her being Thanos' favorite kid and kind of second to him, I think speaks volumes for her reputation. But also, I think it's once she realizes the stone, and it's because of these guys that she meets, she gets the courage to go off on her own. I, I know I think she's always trying to underdo, or not underdo. I get this feeling that she's always undermining Thanos and she's tricking him
Mm.
because she doesn't want him to do what he has accomplished. And she kind of confirms that when you watch in
Endgame.
Endgame,
Oh,
where
yeah.
she says he's always had this plan. He's always told us about it. And, you know, obviously we don't want him to, you know what I mean? But she's always been able to trick him and somehow, whether I think through her reputation of being a killer and badass, always earn his trust to a degree. But now it's clear what she does here is different, right?
Mhm.
And I think it's because she meets these people.
Yeah.
I think she's afraid of him. I do think she's afraid of Thanos. I mean, I think it's very apparent, especially when you get later on. Because you got to remember the Thanos that trusted her in Endgame was before all this happened. You know? He learns a lot from what she does to him and what Nebula does to him in the long run when he realizes the outcome of everything.
Mhm.
He learns who betrays him ultimately,
Mhm.
you know? And there's a relationship there to a degree. That's why he threw her off the mountain. Like, I think there's a deeper thing to it. But I've always thought that because, you know, her reputation, I think it speaks that she is so highly to him. I don't think you'd be in that position if you were a slouch, you know? But then on top of it, though, I think it was her finding the courage to do it was also because she's just surrounded by people that she can't trust these people. There's no one out there gutsy enough to do what these guys did for her and what they're willing to do and what they're capable of doing. And I think that that's what it needed to happen for her, and that's why I think we see such a drastic change. But I get why you feel that way. I do.
Yeah. All right. So last thing, I guess, your one sentence final review.
This is a swing and a hit and a home run for the cosmic MCU. And if you want a good laugh and a good time, watch this movie.
Great way to put it. Great way to put it. If you're ever wondering how to tell a great space story on outlaws saving the universe, this film is great to showcase that. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, guys. Thank you for sticking with us this long on the Goodell Multiverse Podcast. We just got done with episode 11.
Yeah.
So, Ike, what's going on next week?
So next week, it's going to be episode 12, guys. And we're going to have a kind of a crazy week next week, aren't we? So, yeah, it's going to be the hard week, y'all.
Oh, boy.
So next week, we're on episode 12, guys. Our biggest things we're going to have, obviously, we'll have the news. We'll have some rumor mill rundowns. We'll have some fun stuff to talk about. Our Branch Point Breakdown, though, is going to be of Spider Noir series review, the whole series. So, guys, pray for us because we got a lot of stuff to watch in like a couple days. So, thankfully, it comes out. I'm going to wake up early in the morning, watch a couple episodes, and I want to be halfway done with it the first night, and the next night watch the other half. So,
yeah,
I think it's the best way to do it. And
oh, yeah. But not just that. What else are we doing?
Then after that, guys, oh my God, what a big week next week. Oh man, y'all. Next week, it's our retrospective of Avengers, the second one, Age of Ultron. You believe we're at Avengers Age of Ultron?
Wow, we're getting to the end of phase 2.
Felt like just the other day we did Avengers.
Right? Like, what the heck? The
end of phase 2, we're about to get into a very interesting retrospective on this movie. It's going to be an interesting talk.
Yeah.
This is a movie that's got a lot of divisions in certain ways, and there's lots of good and bad about this one, and it's going to be interesting to get into. I already know some of the stuff I have problems with. I'm just going to have to articulate it and watch it a few times, and then there's stuff that, man, is just, boy, is it good. So there's things that, it's going to be fun to talk about when we get into it.
And I will say that there are things that I had a problem with that movie when I first watched it in the theaters that now I don't have a problem with them anymore. So doing a retrospective review on it was going to be very interesting. But now I'm actually kind of shocked, and I think it's because of how they've done some stuff later on that's made me think, okay, I actually can watch this and enjoy it more.
Yeah, I think I feel similar.
Yeah.
There's some things I have problems with that haven't changed, but there's definitely stuff where I'm like, And then later on, though, it's things in the future made this movie better.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take that into account and give it its due for that because of that, it's obvious that we have to be honest about it. Like I said, we're not pretending we've never seen these. These are a look back. So I am going to take into account that we know what's coming out of it. So.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And this is going to be fun. I'm excited for this. It's probably going to be like our last Avengers one where we're going to have, when this is split up onto YouTube, there's going to be a part 1 and a part 2 because it's Avengers. I mean, come on, guys.
Well, we're going to have a lot to say.
Yeah. So thank you for tuning into the Goodell Multiverse Podcast, everybody. Please like and subscribe. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. Please send us an email if you are have a question for us, anything like that. Leave a comment below of this video. And thank you so much for tuning in. See you at the movies.